No, yesterday was so much fun. Like sometimes when I go live, yeah, it feels like I don't want to say it feels like a chore because I don't do it enough for me to say that.
Yeah.
Like I shouldn't be like, oh my god, this is like really, really, this is taxing and whatnot. I think it's more when we do, I think it's more when we do like the live streams, like the watch alongs that can be tough, especially when the card drags.
Yeah. Yeah. Like 302 was like, or
Yeah.
some of the fight nights. Some of the fight nights are just
No, they've been. Some of them have been. I'm not even taking like the piss here. Like I I've never been that bored in a card. I've never been that bored watching a card.
yeah.
Like never. I've never experienced that. Like, 'cause I mean, you know me. Like, usually I can like, hey Mohammed, how you doing, brother?
What's up, Mo?
Yeah, I was struggling. Like, cause I mean, you know me. I can talk for days. Like, I'll talk to myself, which is like I'm one of those weird people who will be walking around, um, talking shit to myself in the house. You know, like I commentate on my own life, like as I'm get that probably doesn't surprise you,
No,
but
no, actually it doesn't. No.
it doesn't. Yeah, especially if it's something that I'm like passionate about or yeah. But no, Mohammed's got it. Like we released a video today. Mohammed actually is addressing that very topic where we talked about that tipping point, really, of like what happened because obviously 302 was on the same night as the 5 versus 5, and I have to say that might be the best boxing card overall that I've ever seen
Yeah, as a card. Yeah.
as a card. Like it didn't have the best fight singularly, but there were 6 back-to-back fights that were absolute bangers from beginning to end. And I was actually pissed off that UFC was coming on because when I was looking at the bet, I was under the assumption. I mean, I don't know why I thought this, but I'm like, oh, the what was the fight before Wilder and Zhang? It was
Was the Dubois
Dubois,
Hrgovic?
Dubois and Hrgovic. So I'm like, they were supposed to come on at 9:30, and then Wilder and Zhang were supposed to come out at 10:30, or so they had it. And so the UFC was. I'm looking at the timing, and I'm like, oh man, like the UFC card is probably going to start, 20 minutes, 30 minutes after the main event finished.
Hmm.
And like, no, literally, like it gets to 10:30 and the co-main hasn't started yet. I'm like, fucking, I'm gonna have to stop watching it, which is a very strange. I've never felt that way. Well, I haven't felt that way about a boxing card in a long time.
Yeah, yeah. It was really well put together. And like those Saudis and the Sheikh are like really doing some really good things
No, they're
for
serious.
boxing.
Did you see the 5 versus 5 promo?
No, I didn't see it.
I did like
Was it
little
like
slices of
the
it. Yeah, it was when they did have you seen the movie Snatch? The Guy
Mhm.
Ritchie one.
Oh yeah, repeatedly.
It was a Snatch type one. You know where they have the card table
Yeah.
and then they bring them both in, and then they have like Frank is kind of acting a bit like Bricktop, and then you've
Hmm.
got I don't know what the Eddie Hearn's kind of acting like the card guy, the other guy, Eddie, the card guy.
Yeah. Did
Yeah,
it
so
Eddie was it Eddie Four Fingers?
yeah,
No, it's
yeah,
Frankie Four Fingers actually. Frankie Four Fingers.
yeah. So he was they set it up like that, and then they introduced each of the fighters. They had they proper detailed promos about each fighter, and there's been signs of this. Like I thought the promotion for all of that was sensational. They're stepping it up.
Yeah, I mean when they did the Francis Ngannou and Tyson Fury
That was the
promotion,
first sign for
yeah,
me.
I was like, that's like it's got a movie trailer type of feel to it
Oh,
almost.
100%. Yeah, the UFC ain't coming like that.
No, no.
Like,
The closest they've ever done anything like that was Connor and Aldo when they had them walking in the streets of Vegas with all those people behind them. Like that was cool.
they did
But
make Zhang and they made Zhang and Wilder look cool. Like they had Zhang was like the thief, and then they had Wilder was like what was his character thing again? It was the bouncer.
oh yeah,
It was amazing. It was amazing. Like it was like a 20-minute promo trailer, and it was sensational. Like I
yeah,
was gripped. I was like, I'm invested in all these fighters because I didn't really know that much about Hutchison, and I know Ball a little bit. because I saw
Hmm.
him fight. I think it was Vargas. I was amped.
Yeah,
They're getting my attention.
yeah. For you to say or even think that boxing was
Bro, I made
kind
a
of a
video.
bad
I made a
thing.
video. Do you remember early on in my channel where I had boxing versus MMA debate, and then I started it off with the first minute saying because my thumbnail was boxing is still king,
Hmm.
and then like I proceeded for about 40 minutes to absolutely lay into boxing and how shit it is. So like I pulled everyone in, and then was like, boxing is terrible. Are you joking? And then
Yeah,
just
like thank you all for coming. You thought I was going to go this way, but now that
yeah,
I've got your attention, let me go another way. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. So if you think about that card, it felt like a
Mhm.
seminal moment for me, and you had that card going on, and then you had
Yeah.
UFC 302, which I felt like I suffered through that card.
Yeah, it was hard. It was
It
hard.
was awful.
I was really like I couldn't wait for the Kevin Holland fight. That's really what I was kind of looking forward to. Like
Yeah,
I felt like there was no way that he was going to let us down.
and that's why he was my MVP, which
Mhm.
we will talk about later. The thing is, yeah, like I was saying that, when Roman Kopylov and Almeida came, so all the fights before it, I was like, I had no expectations for. Like the thing, to be fair, like the Basil Hafez and Mickey Gall fight was entertaining for what it was, but it was so unskilled that it didn't
Yes.
feel that entertaining as well. It just felt like, oh my, it felt painful because obviously I bet on Hafez as well.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my god, you're shit. Like Mickey Gall looks like a prime Anderson Silva right now. What are you doing?
Yeah. Mickey
Like,
Gall was dancing backwards and hitting them with shots. I mean, and leading up to it, I was like, okay, Mickey Gall, I don't know if he belongs in the UFC. And Hafez just allowed him to look competent. It's embarrassing.
yeah, that's the thing. So, a lot of people were like, "Oh, Mickey Gall was just improved." I'm like, I don't think that's not why that was not my takeaway. That was not my takeaway. My takeaway was Baz, and I agree with Mo on this one. You were obviously with me when we did it live, and I was like, I was sitting on that parlay for 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and I was literally like, he's fucked it. He's fucked it. And when he got when they read out 30-27, I was like, oh shit, he's really fucked it.
Yeah, I couldn't. That just didn't. Man, those judges all night, and it's not all three of them. Thank goodness. It was always just one.
It was always one, yeah. But that's the danger, because if you get one who's consistently doing it, it raises the chances of one guy being like, eh. Because we got a very similar situation with the Strickland and Costa one, where it was like, because of
49,
Strickland's
46.
style, you can get a robbery, and that's how robberies happen.
Yep.
So no, it was a disgrace. And the thing is, it seemed to be one judge, but it seemed to be one judge doing it at different times. So you had
David
Chris Lee
David
doing it.
Torelli. David Torelli.
Then it was David. David Torelli was the biggest culprit that night.
Yeah.
But Chris Lee threw in a couple of Chris Lee's. Was Chris Lee? So
Yeah.
nah, it was a terrible night on every account. Like the judging was awful, the fights were awful. Um, Outside of the main event, obviously, and we've talked about that a little bit.
Wow.
Um,
Mo said that he wishes that Strickland did get robbed.
I'm gonna tell you this now. Yeah, I've seen so much Strickland hate lately.
I wonder why.
It's because, again, it's the fighting style, isn't it? It's like my perspective of it is very different. I'm like, if I can go in there and just do the bare, if I'm teeping somebody, it's like, like when you used to play Street Fighter back in the day and you were Chung Li. When she does
Hmm.
that move when she goes like that,
Yeah.
when she kicks her, and then
Yeah.
you're
Yep.
winning.
Yeah.
You're winning that way. That's what that felt like. I'm not going to stop doing that if you're not going to defend against it. Do you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. It's true.
If I can win against you every time that way, I'm going to keep doing it. So I felt the issue was more on I blame Paulo Costa for that fight a lot more than I do Sean Strickland.
Yeah, and he said something about that too. He posted on Twitter that he won't fight like that again. He felt like Joe Rogan was right about the fact that he was going backwards, and I mean, you can't really do anything.
No,
The judges are going to look at it, as if you're conceding ground consistently, which he was. Just kept
yeah.
on going backwards.
Can I say this about Mo? Yeah, I love how Mo's like, I've got reasons for this, and then he lays down all the reasons. It's like his personality is awful, his fighting style is shit, and the way he promotes himself is terrible. So just everything is bad.
Everything about him.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the side of if I'm like I said, if I'm going in there and I'm making again, this is a fight he shouldn't have even had to take. The fact that he's fighting number 7 after a razor close title defense that he lost, to be thrown in there with Paulo Costa, who I don't think is really that dangerous, but like to have to do that, and then if you're going to go in there and you're making a certain amount of money, way less than you're used to, and then you're doing one thing to a guy who's not responding to it. I mean, outside of a few leg kicks, Costa had nothing for him. And then I escape out of that with my money. I can go. I'm going about my regular daily life. The next day, I get paid, and I'm keeping my ranking. All day, I'm doing that.
What's
All day.
interesting is, did you know that according to the contracts, Paulo Costa gets paid more than Sean Strickland?
So say what?
Yeah, Paulo Costa, he gets paid more than Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland is it's 160. It's either 165 or 168.
So
To
wait,
show,
he got paid 168 for that fight.
yeah, and then he got his win bonus. But if he didn't win, he would only got 168.
Bro, that only substantiates the point further. He must have been fucking angry.
Yeah,
I mean,
Paulo
I'm
Costa
happy for
almost got the
Costa.
same amount. Paulo Costa almost got the same amount in a loss.
No, I'm happy for Costa because I think, do you know what it is here? I think they know when he releases this secret juice thing, he's gonna be that shit's gonna sell.
Yeah,
I'm gonna buy it. Just out of pure curiosity. I'm down. Yeah.
yeah, he's got a whole gimmick, man. I like it. I mean, I like the. He's just a funny dude, man. He's hilarious to me.
He is.
I don't think the UFC they'll always find a way to find common ground with him to get him on the team because I mean he is a good fighter. He just couldn't figure out the Sean Strickland's marching forward, tapping you style that he does. But
I mean, there's enough tape. There's enough tape. Do you know what I'm saying?
yeah, you would
Like,
think.
there's no excuse to that.
You would think. So on that, I actually watched an interview earlier today with the person who's headlining the card coming up this weekend with
Mhm.
Jared Cannonier. And he was talking about that fight. And well, one, he said that he thought that that Sean Strickland has changed his style just a little bit since they fought. He's
Mhm.
really committing to that marching forward thing. He said he didn't fight like that when he fought Jared Cannonier.
Mhm.
And he said that and Jared said that he's sick of people saying that he lost that fight. And he just doesn't think that that's a viable argument at this point. And he feels that if he beats Nasruddin Imavov, that he should be in consideration for a title fight as well.
Mhm. I actually agree. But I also know it's not going to happen.
Personality.
Yeah, he's got the same. That's the thing. Jared Cannon's fighting style was all right. Like, he's not the most boring guy to watch, but the thing is, yeah, he's not unentertaining to watch. Do you know what I mean? But he has zero personality. In
Yeah.
terms of, like, the thing is that when he talks in an interview, he's a very reasonable, like, he's a very sensible type. He doesn't say anything out of pocket or anything too controversial. He's just vanilla,
Yeah.
is what he is.
Yeah.
Very sensible. He makes
Yeah.
very good points, but that's not going to move the needle.
That's the thing. He doesn't. There's nothing shocking about what he says,
Mm.
at all. And he's a regular person. What's up, Tino?
Man, Tino.
But yeah, he's just a sensible person that says sensible things, and people don't remember that. Just like Mo said, people don't remember it. They remember him for his stones and You know, that he was a person that fought up at heavyweight and lost a lot of weight. And
Yeah, it's the fat guy. It's the Khalil Rountree story
yeah,
in a way. By the way, Mohammed, just as a quick thing, I don't know if you're a football fan or not, but I know you're in the UK. Check out Tino ABL the Tune. He's got a channel on YouTube that and as a Newcastle fan, I personally really appreciate it. So I haven't checked your video out today, Tino, but I'm gonna get on it this afternoon. Definitely, or this evening. I'm gonna watch that. So just a quick shout out to Tino. Um, yeah, but that's the thing. It's like I do think he should get it, but again, it's just a case of there's so many people in front of him in the queue. Like, I don't even want to get started on Adesanya again. Like,
well, you know he's gonna get the fight, but what if um Jared goes in there and knocks out Imavov?
that's what he's got to do. He's got to
Yeah,
literally, for me, for Jared Cannonier to get a shot at the belt or even get close to it, he's got to smoke him in a round,
yeah,
and that's not going to be. I mean, I don't see that. I mean, it could happen. It
could.
could happen. But Imavov, I do think he's going to beat Imavov. While we're on the subject, I
Yeah,
do think he's going to. I'm again. It's the old bad MMA math thing. He had a decent, he had a decent. You can argue whether Strickland beat him or not, but at the end of the day, it was a very competitive fight, and Cannonier did
it
the right
was.
things, and Strickland obviously dealt with Imavov like he was nothing. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I think that Jared, as long as he's completely healed up from his injury, he should walk out of there with a W. I just hope he doesn't coast. And according to what he's saying in the lead up, it sounds like he's going to be more aggressive, put his foot on the gas a little bit. But
yeah,
hopefully that's what he does. And
and I
you
think
know,
he is because he's been out for a while. It's been what, a year since he's fought last.
yeah, hmm
And for a guy of his age, I'm assuming this is the case because he's obviously no worries, Tino. Um, yeah, for a guy of his age, he needs to get moving. And the thing is, yeah, as much of a vanilla personality as he's had, because of watching him sit down in front of after having what was it, a co-main it was a year and a half ago, and him saying, this check is literally going to get me out of the red. I'm like,
yeah,
fuck me, man. You're 40, or he was 38 at the time.
yeah,
He's 38 at the time, and he's saying literally, this fight I just won is going to give me. I'm going to get back to zero. I'm like, fuck, that just felt disgusting to me.
yeah, yeah. It's bad. It's
Yeah, that's
bad.
bad. That's bad. So I'm like, how you doing, Western brother? Oh, Whoa Black Betty's up in the house as well. I agree with Quentin
He
Tarantino.
called you Quentin Tarantino. I know he didn't call
Oh, is
me
that
Quentin.
me? Sick.
He called you.
That's not the worst one I've had, this
Oh,
week.
you're one of the.
That's I mean, I know he's an ugly, creepy little weirdo, but I've been
But
caught
he's one of
worse.
the best. He's one of the best.
Yeah, at least I can put a positive spin on that. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Yeah, like with the Steve Buscemi and the Ellen Pages.
Oh
That's
man.
anyway. Fuck it. It is what it is.
Yeah, the Ellen Page that goes down in history right there. That's one of the best.
Now, the only thing I disagree with the Tarantino thing is the guy's too much into feet, and I'm not that guy. You know what I'm saying?
Is he in the feet?
Oh man, he's a foot freak. Yeah. And the thing is, now that you know that, the next time you watch his movies, you're gonna notice why can't we dono? I do not monetize because I don't want adverts in my videos.
Dang.
I'm a man of the people. Nobody's ever offered to dono to me before. I'm not saying that you're offering, but it's like, god damn, that's a we're not worth it yet, to be honest.
But soon.
I mean, but soon we
Soon.
will.
Soon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I was like, we've talked about this before. Like, I was offered monetization about 6 or 7 months ago, and I've still got the email saved. Um, I've still got the email saved, but
I'm telling
I
you.
haven't done it. I figure I want to get to 1,000, and then I was whenever I tune into channels and then I see um 10 mid-roll ads for a 30-minute video, I'm like, man, yeah, fuck that. I mean, I'm
I think
subscribed.
you can control it now, though. Like now, you can control how many you have, so you don't
That's what I'm
like
saying. I'm seeing people do
overdo
10,
it.
yeah, in a
Because I
30-minute
mean,
video.
y'all know, like the bigger that we get. I mean, if y'all have y'all's own channels and everything, I know Tino's gonna know this. Like some of that stuff, like you kind of can't control it. If you want to get paid, like
Mhm.
you're gonna have to let these ads go.
Yep.
But 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 you can control how many show, and that's what's important. As long as you don't have like 30 more ads than content, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think it can be way too excessive. Like I'm not against people making money on YouTube at all because obviously I know personally. Do you know what it is? Yeah, it's because I know how much time you put into your stuff, whereas I don't. So I feel like I don't deserve it. Like literally, I put the minimum effort into a lot of my videos. Where I'll just like I'll be the first person to admit that. Like I'll just record, throw some music on, which is sometimes too loud, by the way, and then um I more trust in the fact that we're talking about things that are relevant and important. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's more
Yeah.
that and just hope that the right people turn up. I'd rather have a very small community base of people who are here all the time and talking and willing to engage than have thousands and thousands of subscribers of people who don't really interact at
Do
all.
anything, yeah.
I said the same thing yesterday. Like I did a stream yesterday with some of the boys in here, and I had so much fun. Like it was just really nice vibing with everyone, and you know, answering various questions and just bantering away. It was a great one. So I appreciate that.
Hmm.
I'm liking this time slot as well. I think like coming on at this time is much better.
I'm telling you, this is like a great time to do it.
Yeah. So what are you thinking about? What are you thinking about this weekend's card? I've looking at it from a on paper point of view.
Man, let me see. Let me see. Let me look at the card itself because I
What
forget everybody who's on this thing. Um, all right. So, well, you know what? Looking at the undercard, like the early fights, like you got some interesting fights, like um the woman's fight, the Pooja Tomar and Rayanne Dos Santos.
Yeah,
Like by name, people don't know who that is, but it's actually India's first female fighter fighting. So
yeah.
that's kind of a landmark fight. So that's pretty cool.
And the woman she's fighting fought Stamp Fairtex, who was my favorite female fighter not that long ago.
Yeah,
What's the news on Connor and 303? We still haven't had anything definitive yet,
yeah.
from what I
Heard that
understand.
it's injury though. Heard that he was injured.
Apparently it's his shoulder. Um, I think he's definitively India's first India fighter. I love that. India's first Indian fighter.
Is that what I said?
Is that what you? No, I think you said female fighter. I think Mohammed's just I think Mohammed's put his own twist on that one there. India's first Indian fighter.
It's like it's the first one, huh?
Stick with that.
Okay. What they've been doing all this time.
India's first female fighter. Yeah, she's apparently she's not that bad. I mean, she's not that heavily favored, but in a woman's fight,
Yeah.
anything goes. It's literally a coin toss any time. You know.
It'll go. I'll bet the over.
Uh, that is funny. Now, Angel Jubilee is the first male Indian
Yeah,
fighter. She's the
yeah.
first female. Yeah, she's 8-4. But with women's records, it's like, does it ever really matter? Like, it doesn't.
Plus 2.5 on rounds.
That's my go. Whenever I bet
Bet
on
the
female
over.
fights, that's my go-to every time.
Bet the over.
Just
But
bet the over.
but then like after that fight, they got Cody Stamen against Taylor Lapilus.
It's a good fight.
That's a good fight, man.
It's a
That's a
good card. It's a good card on paper, I have to say. For a fight night, it's adequate.
yeah,
Like, and because it's going to be in, I know it's in Kentucky, right?
yeah.
So it's not in,
The
so it's
Yum
in Louisville,
Center.
Kentucky. I think
Hmm.
they're going to be, is that hillbilly country? I don't know that much.
It
Sorry
is.
if I'm offending anyone, but hillbillies at least know how to make an atmosphere.
Yeah, it'll be crazy.
So,
Well, man, tickets were cheap too. Tickets were cheap. Like it's interesting because when I put out the video about the ticket prices for 304, um, people were asking like, what's sky high? What's a sky high price ticket? Well, to me, in comparison to what, and you just bought tickets for 304, right?
I did, yeah.
So tickets at the top of the section for this one for the Yum Center 75, but well, actually, I saw one just the other day, $68.
Jesus, man, that's crazy. I did not pay $68 for mine. I can tell you that much. It wasn't as much as I was expecting it to be, but it wasn't cheap. I'll put it that way. Like, but I was surprised at how easy it was.
Yeah.
Because basically they go on I was stressing about it yesterday. I talked about this in the live stream. I was like, I'm gonna try and get in line for 3 or 4 tickets tomorrow. I know how these things can go. I'm like, fuck me. It's gonna be like, I'm stressed out about it. Is it gonna be easy enough to do? And what I didn't realize is obviously UFC has that, what do they call it? The that pass thing they have where you can get early access to tickets. I can't remember
Oh
what it's
yeah.
called.
It's not the fight pass. It's something. I get
Hang on,
emails on
I
it.
think I've got a link. I think I've got the link for it here. Hang on, I'm just gonna clarify this. Fight Club.
That's it.
How do we
Yeah,
not know that? Fight Club?
I know.
Yeah, so I signed up for that yesterday. Not because I signed up for the co-op app first, thinking they're gonna have the easiest access. And then I didn't realize, hang on a second, UFC Fight Club's there. And then I signed up to it and they're like, oh, we'll send you a redeemable code in like 48 hours. And I was thinking, but the tickets are on sale in 12 hours. So I'm like, that timeline, I'm not really that good at maths, but like that timeline that doesn't work for me. And I just shelled out $100 on this thing. So I was thinking, oh shit, did I just fuck up? But no, I went on this morning and I just used my membership ID and yeah, I was in the queue. Like, I think the tickets are fine. They're on the ground, which is good.
Yeah,
And I think it's about 10 rows or 12 rows back from where the cage is.
that's pretty
And
good.
I spent about $1,000 on like 2 tickets.
That's actually cheaper than I thought it was going to be.
I think it's because of the time.
Oh,
I'm
that makes
assuming
sense.
they're like, no one's going to spend $3,000 to sit, to be awake, to have to bring their pillow and blankie along and survive through that's mad, bruv. I'm just going to address some, sorry, you're talking about Mazico Costa, yeah? He's not fighting on this card, right? He's fighting on the next one. I think he's fighting next week.
Yeah, I think so.
I like him. He's the guy who's got like the skin condition, right?
Yep.
He's a
Yeah,
good fighter though. He
he's a
lost his
really
last
good
one a
fighter.
bit disappointingly, but he's good.
He is.
Yeah, Rosas Jr. is finally fighting Tercios. I didn't know that Tercios won tough.
Yeah, I remember.
That
What
was
makes me
shit.
remember him is his hair. I always remember his hair. But yeah, he won tough.
Let me check. You're saying Mazico Costa is on this card. Let me double check. I don't think he is.
I don't think he's on this card.
No, he's not.
I think he's on the next
Weston
card.
Wilson's back though. I'm excited for that. How the fuck is this guy getting another fight? Oh no, he is on the fight. He is on the card. This
Who
is
is he?
actually a great card. Mazico Costa versus Charlie and Nerdy and Beke. He is on this card.
Where is he?
Oh, you got me. It says it on Google for me as well. Unless it's been
Mm.
pushed back. I've got it here on my lineup. It says Mazico Costa versus,
I'm looking at the UFC site.
so maybe it's been pushed. Oh no, hang on. Wait. When is this card? It's the 15th. Oh no, I'm
Oh,
looking at something different.
it's the
Yeah, no,
8th.
it's on the 15th. I'm talking bullshit. For some reason, the Louisville card is not here. It's not on the. You know when you type in UFC into Google and it shows the next few cards,
Yeah.
it doesn't have the Louisville card. That's how much they saw it was Jared Cannonier, and they're like, no, that's just no need to include that. Let's just skip that. But then they have put a card that's being that's being headlined by Tagir Ulanbekov and no, sorry, not sorry, the prelims being headlined. Hang on a second, I'm confused now. Oh no,
Um,
that's okay. What's happened is they put the preliminary card as the card after. So
oh,
if you click on main card, it has everything, and then if you click on preliminary card, it has the. So that's where Mo, I can understand why you're confused because it got me as well. If you look at the date, yeah, they fucked that up.
yeah, they got to
That
get
shows
that.
how much they care about these fight nights.
Clearly, they don't care.
No, so yeah, they don't give a fuck. Yeah, so Maziko Costa's on the week after next against Charlie and Nerdy and Becky. Yeah,
Yeah, that's gonna be a good fight. He is definitely a good fighter for sure. But no, going back to this card, they got Eduarda Mora against Denise Gomez. I think that's going to be a good fight. Both of
uh,
those are finishers, which you don't see
yeah.
that all the time with females.
Well, what worries me about that fight for, I do think that hang on, let me just get this one up because I want to make sure I'm singing from the same hymn sheet. Um yeah, her takedown defense is not great. As in Denise Gomez. So I worry about her in that fight 100%. I really do. Hang on, let me pull this up. Hang on, I've just realized I just got a
There we
little
go.
there we go.
There we go. Yeah. So yeah, them two, Eduarda and Denise. You said she doesn't have the best takedown defense.
No, Denise Gomez doesn't have the best
Oh,
takedown
Gomez.
defense. Yeah.
And she looks so different with that hair.
She can pop, but yeah, the I'll be honest, Mo, the Raul Rosas Jr. ball licking is a bit strange to me. I guess it's just because he's really young. And he has his mum following him around to every event. Right, rightfully so. She shouldn't leave that guy alone around adults. The way that things are these days. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
He might get lost. But uh John Castaneda against Daniel Marcos.
Who you got for that one?
I don't know. That one's actually kind of tough. Let's see.
I'm going with Daniel Marcos.
That's the way that I was gonna go, but
Well, I mean, he is
John
undefeated. That
Castaneda,
does help.
I mean, that does help. But he is no slouch.
No, he's not. How old is old Castaneda now?
I don't know.
Does it say?
I mean, I hate his nickname, Sexy Mexi. That was not well thought out.
The worst I've heard, but it's not great.
He's 32.
32. That's not too bad. I love how nicknames play a big part for you, don't they? They're like if they have a shit nickname, you're like fuck this loser.
Pretty much, yeah. If
Yeah.
you accepted that nickname and went out into the world with that name, that lets me know that your IQ is
You know
terrible.
what? Yeah, that's the IQ test that we've all been looking for.
Yeah.
Rather than having the IQ there on the bottom, they just go, "What's his nickname? Oh, yeah, definitely retarded. Let's move on."
For real. That's
Yeah,
gotta
I'm not picking
that
this idiot.
plays a big part into it. Like you are gonna go out into the world with Sexy Mexi. That's what you're gonna go out here with. Okay.
Yeah, that's atrocious. That's atrocious. That is.
Mm-mm.
But then,
That's
mind you, Carlos Ulberg, as we found out in the last chat, was called. He used to be called Ladies' Night, which does not surprise me. It fits into what I've been saying this entire time. Black
yeah.
Jag is slightly, but sexual chocolate with that was I didn't know that John Jones called himself that. Sexual chocolate. The worst.
Yeah, that's a bad one.
That's a bad one. Yeah.
He wouldn't have won all these fights if he went forward with that nickname.
But the
That would
thing
have
is, yeah, when we
messed his
saw
whole
that
career
nickname,
up.
yeah, we should have known that he was going to start fucking up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like with Turkalaj and the Pleasure Man. There's going to be a case come out soon where it's like he touched me inappropriately, or there
Yeah.
was some. Do you know what I mean? There's that. Someone mentioned it was kind of funny that Nina Drama hasn't interviewed him, and like not funny at all. Like she'd be
Yeah,
terrified,
as she should be.
terrifying prospect.
You know what? It's interesting that Sean Strickland, nobody mentions his nickname ever, ever
Tarzan,
mentions it.
isn't it?
Yeah, Tarzan. Nobody says anything about it anymore. It's because he's winning.
No, but also he used to have long hair, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. I mean,
And
he looked like Tarzan. To be fair, like he
he
looked
did,
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
cartoon.
Shit.
Zesty.
Do you know what you have to say? Yeah, zesty is one of my favorite words.
Yeah.
I love the word zesty.
My son says that all the time. If we
Does
bring
he?
up anything that have to do with Drake, he talks about him being zesty.
Do you know what? Yeah, I'm starting to. There's been a lot of. I want to talk. I want to address this quickly. Like, what's going on with the? There's a lot of talk about people thinking that John Jones has something on Dana White because again, I don't watch the MMA Gurus videos that much, but I did see the one that he posted yesterday about Dana kind of apparently like they were asking him questions about Islam Makhachev. Like, do you think he's one of the best lightweights we've ever had? And he just completely diverted and went, but John Jones is the greatest ever. And if you think, and I'm like, all right, what's going on here? It seems like I did watch the interview in full, and it was bizarre.
It was weird.
It's bizarre.
It was weird. I
I
don't
don't think
know,
there's anything
man.
to it. I don't think there's anything
I
to it.
don't think so, but I think that was his way of diverting that conversation. He just chose the weird path to take. But yeah,
Yeah,
I hear what you're saying, Mo, for sure. He is.
it's a bizarre one. Yeah, it could just be the got, but also I think that it might just be because it could just be as simple as we're going to get an announcement with Jones and Stipe forthcoming. I think it's coming very soon, and it might have just been a thing of promote that. I thought his reasoning for saying that Makachev, but by Dana's reasoning in terms of like what the criteria is for pound, surely by Dana's reasoning, you're right. It shouldn't be Makachev. It shouldn't be
No,
John Jones. It should be Alex Pereira. Dana White's reasoning. Dana Jones.
Dana Jones.
There's a Freudian slip right there. If I've ever had one. Yeah. It should be Alex Pereira, surely.
I mean, it's so subjective. They don't get anything from it. Like on one hand, it's like, why do they care? But on the other hand, I mean, these are ultimate competitors. They want to win everything. So
Yeah.
even if it's in a conversation about, something you don't really get anything from physically, they still want to be known as the best. So if I'm Islam, I'm like, dude, y'all clearly know it's me. Clearly, no, it's me.
The thing is, yeah, I don't think Islam seemed to care about it when it was Volkanovski because you can make a case. You could make a case that Volkanovski is that guy. But now that it's John Jones, he's kind of like, oh well, we know that's bullshit. Come on. Like,
Yeah.
so he seems much less bothered by the prospect of it being Jones than. I mean, Jones is where on the pound for pound list actually now? He's like sixth or something.
I don't know. Let me
He's
see.
below Leon Edwards. I know that. I was like, good, good, correct.
He's two.
He's two. He's still two.
Yep, still two.
That makes no sense.
Islam, John, Leon, Alex,
Hmm.
Ilya, Sean, Alexander,
I don't think
Volkanovski.
Leon should be that high. And I love Leon Edwards. I don't get that.
You think he should be behind Alex?
Yeah. Yeah. That's how I would have it. Let's have a look here. Yeah.
How come?
Even Ilya being fifth is fucking stupid.
What's up, Mikey?
I don't agree with that. Oh, Mikey's in the building. You missed a good one yesterday, Mikey. But you're here now, and that's what matters. I think I sent you a DM about it. I'm pretty sure. Maybe I fucked that up. But yeah, I'm
We
excited
can
about
all
this
clear it
card.
up. This is
I'm
awesome.
excited about this card, and the good thing is that I got a whole load of like, I cleaned up last week in the betting, as you know, and my betting app. This is why I love this betting app. They then gave me like $20 to work with for next week, so I'm not even going to be using any of my own money. So I'm like,
Oh yeah, that's good.
I'm pretty stoked with that.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, on my card, I don't usually, because it worked out for me last time. I'm still going to do it. I've got By the way, one fight that I think is a sleeper.
Hmm.
Charles Radke is on this card, right? Am I
Yep.
right about that?
Yep. Against Carlos
I like,
Paredes.
I like his chances against Carlos Prates, and he's a very big underdog. He's like plus 250. Bet365 is the worst fucking app in existence. I'm telling you, I'm just gonna rant about this for 2 seconds if you don't mind.
Oh yeah.
I I put a parlay on with Bet365. It was like I put like $20 on. The biggest parlay payout I ever got. I got like 2 grand off that parlay. A week later, they banned me.
What?
Yeah, I cannot go back to Bet365. And the thing is, yeah, I changed addresses, and they were like, so they let me start betting initially, and then they must have figured out it was me, and then banned me again. And they gave me no reason. Like, so I contacted their department. I'm like, okay, so why? What's the? And they were like, oh, it's at our discretion whether we let people bet or not.
What?
I'm like, wow. So basically, if you win, fuck off. If you win big, get out of here. I know 2 grand isn't a lot of money to them, but they obviously smelled something was in the water. So yeah, I got banned from there. So I use Paddy Power now. Shout out to Paddy Power. Giving a little Irish plug there as well.
Man, that's
Um,
wild. That is crazy.
let's check out the yesterday was happy birthday for yesterday, bro. And I was getting Mew Delana. Is that wow? That might be the best.
That's a good name right there,
That
boy.
might be the best pet name I've ever heard. To be fair, you don't have a lot of competition. Most pet names are awful, but that is a great name. Yeah, so if I'm looking at this card, I like the looks of I think Taylor Lapillus should be all right because I like his reach advantage. And I think Charles Ratke at like plus 200 is great value. I think he's getting it together. I will create an account. Fuck Bet365, bro. Fuck them. Although I would like to take more money from them. They are, but I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that. Also, as well, another channel you should check out, the
No,
Fight
yeah,
Franchise. Some great videos on there as well. We did some videos a while back, and hopefully we'll be doing more in the future, all of us together. Another great channel you should check out. So if you're not subscribed, go to the Fight Franchise as well. This is what we do in here. It's like it's a love thing. If you're somebody who's doing some good work in the space, always happy to promote each other.
for sure. For sure.
100%. Yeah, so I like Carlos Prates. I like the Brad Katona one's a little bit weird for me. I mean, I know he's fighting Jesse Butler, who's terrible, but
I don't like watching. I don't like watching Brad Katona
oh,
fight.
he's awful. He's awful to watch. And he's got the most jarring personality as well. Quick question, actually. Sorry, I know I'm kind of jumping all over the place. Did anybody watch Tough last night? And how bad was it?
I did. I did. Before I do that, I'm gonna drop in the chat this sign up thing. If y'all are looking for other places to bet or whatnot, this sign up expert link that I'm dropping in the chat that'll help you find some places or whatnot. But anyway, back to Tough. I watched it and it was just like any other Tough episode ever. Obviously I'm watching it to see my boy Tom.
Who did your boy Tom get paired with?
He is on Alexa Grasso's team.
So he needs to take his shot, is what you're saying.
Yeah, he needs to try it.
He needs to give it a go. She's not with anyone, right?
I
Give
don't
it a
think
go.
so. I don't think so.
Give it a go.
But they had the first fight and it was featherweights. and yeah, it was a really boring fight, to be honest with you. Really, really boring fight. I mean, the saving grace for them is to have exciting fights, and that's just not happening.
I mean, they're being no disrespect to because they're two higher level women, but you're getting is it welterweight the division they're doing or is it middleweight?
Middleweight, they're doing featherweight and middleweight.
Where's the logic behind this? I saw a clip going around on Twitter of Valentina's first bit of advice was don't drink water during training. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah, that was one of the things. That's just part of the way she does it. She doesn't.
I mean, it's fine, but I'm like, that works for you. It's not really advice I would generally be giving to anyone,
No.
given that hydrating is important for the brain and whatnot. If that
Yep.
works for you, fantastic. But it's not like a general piece of advice I would be giving out. Like drain your. It just felt a little bit strange to me.
It was. It was
I'm gonna.
strange.
What did Tom feature at all in the episode?
Nah, not in this one. Like I saw him a few times, but
Yeah, so I'm gonna skip that then. I'll
yeah,
start. I'll start tuning in when he actually appears.
yeah, nothing to see on that one.
So Mo is saying that Ariel Hawani is now saying that Conor McGregor's going to be fighting.
That's what he says.
Yeah. Do you think Dana's feeding him some bullshit just to
Um,
catch him out, or somebody in the UFC is? They're trying to catch a rat.
from what I saw, um, or what I've read so far, that if they didn't have that press conference thing that was supposed to happen or whatnot, we wouldn't have even known about this injury. Like they feel like it's that insignificant. So it may just be a
Yeah.
little
Apparently, it's a tweak
scared.
thing where it could be a thing where he still could make the card, which would be great. I mean, like, I still think the card is kind of weak, but maybe it's just like a ready built-in excuse for Conor to be like, I came into the fight and I was, so he's got that ready in the bag. He's got that in the chamber in case he gets chinned. Let me check this out, Mikey. I'll Soriano by. I mean Soriano. I want to, and Soriano's going down a weight class as well. So he's fighting at welterweight for the first time.
Hmm.
I think it's like plus 350, which is basically his only avenue for success because all he does is wing overhand rights.
Yep.
That's all he does. He just keeps winging until you walk into one.
And in the last fight, he started to show some different parts of his game,
Mm.
as far as like striking. But I don't know. It's just like I don't know. Like he's not defensively responsible at all. I mean, it makes
No.
it exciting, but goodness.
Yeah, he's been another one who disappointed. Baszler got finished 3 times in a row in the UFC as well. Yeah, Baszler's been another one who's disappointed as well. He lost, I think, when he lost to Ponzinibbio, that's when things really went downhill for him because he managed to climb to a certain level, and then Ponzinibbio kind of did him in. From what I remember, I think it was Ponzinibbio who he fought. It's an interest. Baszler's not very good. I agree with you on that. But the thing is with Soriano though, it's like maybe he'll do better because he's used to getting hit by middleweights, and maybe he won't.
Yeah.
But then how does the cut go? Because he's not small.
No, he's not small at all.
But he's got to do something because he was getting smoked at middleweight, so he had to do something. I get the move, but there's nothing to lose at this point.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Baszler was cut or not because I don't really follow his career to that extent. I mean, he's a fairly nothing to me. As harsh as that sounds, I know that's harsh, but it's true. I don't care about him.
What do you think about this Tiago Moises Ludovic Klein fight though?
That's a
I think
close
that
one to me.
I like this fight. I like this fight a
Mm.
lot.
I'm the thing is there because I used to shit on Ludovic Klein quite a lot. Like I thought he was so overrated and disappointing. I'd gun him at every given opportunity, but he started pulling it together recently. Like his last, I think he's won 3 or 4 in a row.
Hmm.
He's had some really good performances. Thiago Moises is a weird one for me because he's very skilled, but he just
Yeah,
seems to be he gets outdogged a lot of the time,
he
and that's
does.
my concern. It is a pick'em though. It's right. I think it's a pick'em in the odds the last time I looked at it, and rightfully so. and rightfully so. I think it's like it's not the best fight. It's not the best fight. I
Yeah.
mean, sorry, it is a good fight in terms of it's close, but it's like it's not the best fight to bet on, is what I mean.
Um.
Way.
Now these two fights right here is Julian Marquez and Zachary Reese and Bruno Fajeda against Dustin Stoltzfus.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, that's a lot of consonants in a row. It might be too many, but yeah, that fight right, those two fights, I'm getting up to get something to eat, something
I
to
don't know,
drink.
man. Bruno Ferreira's a banger, man. I think he might. I think he might.
Was
I
it
can see him KO. I can see him knocking Stoltzfus out.
what's his nickname? Something Hulk or something like that. What is it? Nah, it doesn't even show anything. I feel like when the lead up when he first got into the UFC, it was something about him being some sort of Hulk or whatever. I don't know. I don't. I'm not high
He
on
can
this
crack
dude.
though. He can crack. I think he's gonna chin Stoltzfus. So that might be a quick one, which is why I might
Which
get
would be
up to
great.
go get a drink with Julian Marquez and Zachary Reese though. Zachary Reese is another one who really has disappointed me because he lost. He didn't he lose to Cody Brundage?
Did
Isn't he the one that Cody Brundage picked up and dumped on his head? I'm pretty sure.
you might
Maybe
be
I'm wrong
right.
about that.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is. And Zachary Reese was a minus 400 favorite in that fight. And the reason why I remember it so vividly is because he was one of my fluffers for the night. And all he did was fluff the shit out of my wallet. That's all that happened in that situation. Destroyed my and that was a winning parlay as well. He was the only one that it was like when when people were putting Adesanya as a fluffer against Strickland and they were counting their
Oh
money.
yeah.
It was like that. Fortunately, I didn't fall into that trap, but a lot of people did.
Yeah, Zachary lost the opportunity. He could have been fighting Bo Nickel on UFC 300 if he would have won that fight.
Imagine,
Mm,
imagine. Yeah, a career ruined by. If you lose to Cody Brundage, I've got concerns.
yeah, everybody should have concerns for that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so then we move on to the Raul Rosas Jr. against Ricky Tercios.
Mm.
Um, Not an easy fight.
No, Tercios is scrappy.
Hmm.
Tercios is scrappy. I just don't think he's particularly great at anything. He's like it's like the jack of all trades thing. His striking's decent. His takedown game is decent. He's decent on the ground, but he's just not exceptional anywhere. And I think he's going to get outpowered by because Raul Rosas Jr. It's very hard to tell where this guy's going to go because obviously he's very young, but that progress is going to be very rapid because his body's obviously changing week to week. Do you know what I mean? And with
Yeah, I
him
think
training,
he's going to have trouble staying in the bantamweight division. Like he's
oh
getting
no,
bigger, like so fast.
he might be a shout to miss weight this weekend.
Maybe, maybe is like he's going to be at 145 soon.
Yeah, I'm with Mikey on this one. I think I can see Rosas taking him down. I like the sub prop of Rosas Jr.
Yeah,
to take him down and get like a DOS or something. I like the odds on that. I
yeah,
never do prop bets like that. I don't usually bet on like a sub or a KO or anything because it's usually a mugs game. But I like the. I'm not gonna bet on it, but that's how I can see that fight ending.
Speaking of KOs, we got Dominic Reyes against Dustin Jacoby.
Yeah, this is a tricky one.
Yep.
This is make or break for Dominic Reyes. Oh, he's already been broken, but you know what I'm saying. This is basically if he
Yeah.
loses this, it's over.
Yeah, it's retirement for him. Or at the very least going to a
But no,
PFL
but
tour.
that's the thing. He could. I think PFL Tour could pick him up. His days of doing he can't. You can't fight John Jones in a title fight and then go back to the regional. I think he does get cut. I think he does.
Yeah.
He's on like a 5-fight losing streak. I think it is, or something to that effect. I'm not sure how many it is. It could be 4. Let's have a quick look. Dominic Reyes. I mean, John. This is just another. I know John Jones is not the one who you know, got the decision. That losing in 1 minute to Ryan Spann is not 1, 2. Oh no, but the thing is, he lost to Prohaska, Spann, Blachowicz. I mean, look at the guys he's been fighting.
Yeah.
He's fought Jones, Blachowicz. I mean, I know Ryan Spann's a significant Yuri Prohaska, and then the Spann one is the one that really just. That's where I was like, oh no, he's done. He's done.
Yeah,
Like
that
with the
span
Yuri
was
one, I know he got
really
like,
bad.
yeah, that spinning back fist was like filthy, but he was in the fight to a certain extent. Spann just cleaned, and Spann is not good. Put it that way. He's awful.
Yeah,
It's not a good look.
yeah. I mean, and Dustin Jacoby can strike. He's a very
Yeah.
good striker. But he puts himself in bad positions as well.
Yes. He
So
admires his work a lot. There's a lot
he
of
does.
like, oh look, when he hits people, he's like, he kind of gets a bit too happy with himself.
Yeah, he
That's
takes a
where he
picture
gets.
of it. Can't do that. Yeah, and I think that Dominic's left hand is still there. His left hand is still dangerous.
Yeah, time will tell. I hope just for like because Dustin Jacoby again is another one who just annoys me. Like because his career should have gone way better than it has because he's actually skilled, but he's
Yeah,
lost fights he shouldn't have lost. I do think he got robbed against Khalil. I'll die on that hill. I think he beat Khalil and got robbed. But outside of that, he's given so many wins away just by trying to coast and then getting caught. So fuck Jacoby. I want Reyes to knock him out just because I feel so bad for him.
I mean, at this point, if Reyes could just get to the bell, if he could just last to the end.
I don't think Jacoby's going to knock him out. I don't see that being a thing because Jacoby is not really a knockout guy. He's more of a point fighter in that way. Like he more tags you up and beats you up for the large parts of the fight. I think Reyes will get to the end, but like Reyes has more chance of knocking him out, I think, than he does of getting knocked out. As crazy as it's been, considering how many times he's been chinned.
Let's see.
There's a lot of decisions in there, from what I remember.
That's a decision against old broken arm, Oleksiejczyk, but he did knock out Jung.
Yeah,
and he knocked out Kennedy Zajuku. So he's got a
I
couple.
forgot about that one.
That's a big man to be knocking out, man. That's a big old
Yeah,
dude. He's got some knockouts, but I mean, to me, with the person with the most glass jaw in the division, maybe in the sport, is this gentleman right here.
I think Johnny Walker might be asking you to hold his beer right now. That guy,
I don't know.
because when Johnny Walker gets knocked out, it's like it's always a meme because it's like he just collapses, or like when Johnny Walker gets knocked out, it always looks more brutal probably than it is because of the way that he sells it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't know if that's the right word, but like because
but I mean,
he just absolutely collapses. Yeah, Nezachukru's all right. Nezachukru's a decent fighter. Nezachukru beat Carlos Ulberg.
yeah, he did. Yes, he did. His career hasn't gone as well as I think that he thought it was going to go. But
I still like it as
This is
I like the matchup. I think it's a decent like a WWE KO. That's what it
yeah.
looks like sometimes. Yeah, I think this is the right level of opponent for him. Like I think it's not too harsh considering how much of a slide he's been on. And like I said, if you think about who he's been fighting,
Yeah.
Jan Blachowicz, John Jones, Yeri. All right, well, Ryan Spann, fine, but like that's a tough run to go on.
It is.
It's a tough.
It is. But I don't know. I think that this might be the end of Dominic Reyes as a UFC fighter.
Possibly. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna. He's quite the sizable underdog as well, isn't he?
I don't know. I haven't looked at the line on that one.
Let me have a quick gander on that. This could be interesting. I'm assuming Jacoby's the favorite, and yeah, He is a plus 200
Mm,
Reyes. That's very telling.
yeah.
That's very telling. The smart money's probably on Jacoby, but I wouldn't. I'm not going to bet on that one. I still think that, and it would be such a nice little story if Reyes clocked him. I guess.
Yeah.
I guess. I'm not that bothered. I'll be honest.
The redemption story.
Because Reyes is kind of annoying as well.
Oh, what's up, Jeremy? MMA sucker. He said Jacoby will pick him apart and then pressure when he needs to. Slick striking. I mean, that's what he comes from. That's what he comes from. That's what I'm thinking could
Mm,
happen. Especially if Dominic Reyes is in his head about these knockouts. I
mm.
mean, he hasn't made it to the third round in 3 fights. So I don't know if he's in his head about it or what. And that's really why I'm thinking like this could be the end of him in the UFC or even the end of his career. Because once you get in your head about it, like you can't perform anymore.
Yeah. And I mean, he's been brutally chinned so many times now.
Yeah, viral. Like
Viral chinnings, yeah. And I mean, they're not like, oh, he got caught and down he went. And the fight, he got absolutely flatlined 3 times in a row, 4 times in a row, 3 times in a row.
3.
Horrible. And against the like gradually degrading opponents as well. Well,
Yeah.
you can definitely say Span was a big step down. That
Yep.
must have been bad for the ego to get chinned out by him. Ugh,
Mhm.
that's nasty. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
nasty. Yeah, I think you might be right. And the thing is, yeah, once you've been to the highs that you have in the UFC, there's nowhere else to go really. I don't even know if there's a place for him in PFL at all. I'm sure they'd take him on
Yeah, they would.
because they'd use him as like a look, he's gonna get beaten up over here as well, kind of thing. The blood clot issue in his head, yeah. That's a tough thing to come back from. Because that just make you more because the same thing happened with Vicente Luque.
Mhm.
You know, once he went through that, it was like he wasn't the same anymore. There's just a tentativeness about him.
Yep, and that you can't be that. You can't do that in this sport. Be
But
tentative.
if as soon as the doctor says to me blood clot, I'm like, I'm out. I'm
Retired.
out. I'm done.
Let's go
Yeah.
do these seminars and signings and all that stuff, and I'll back somebody up because,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, Luque's done it. The fact that they're putting Luque against goddamn Nick Diaz. Oh my god. I mean, he's obviously gonna. I mean, if he doesn't kill that guy, he needs to
oh my
retire as well.
goodness,
Even if he gets a win, anything outside of knocking his ass out in a round or two, he needs to get lost as well. Yeah, because I
that's
mean, Vicente Luque was a very exciting fighter at one point. Great to watch.
yeah, he was. Yeah, that fight is still so bizarre. I really wish it was Nick Diaz against Tony Ferguson. Like that just makes so much more sense.
Yeah, that was the one we called for. I
Yeah.
remember we made a video about it, but we didn't release it. It was just something we discussed. I think it was just an offhand little, yeah, bizarre. It seemed obvious to pair Ferguson and Diaz. I don't get what the thinking is behind this at all.
Yeah,
Maybe
and I
they just
think
want to see Diaz get chinned out. Yeah, Diaz is fighting Luque in Abu Dhabi. Nick Diaz, not Nate Diaz, which would have been less retarded. Nick Diaz is
yep.
fighting Luque. Yeah, I think Tony would beat Diaz. Did you see the way Diaz looked
Who
against
Robbie Lawler?
Robbie Lawler? It's awful. He looked ancient. They both looked bad, to be honest. But like, there was levels to the awfulness.
Yeah, and he had reached the ultimate level because he looked piss poor,
Yeah,
piss poor.
it's gonna be a
And
massacre.
why are they fighting over there? I just don't. I don't get it. I don't get it.
The weird thing as well to me is it's a 5 rounder, and I was having a little back and forth with somebody on Twitter, a polite back and forth for once, I have to say, which is not the usual thing I get on Twitter. Like usually someone like just makes it personal within the first. I'll just disagree with someone's opinion, and then they immediately like you look like you're inbred. It's the immediate. I'm like, I just said that Adesanya's not going to win. What the fuck, man?
Yeah, they go hard.
And they just go straight for the "you look inbred" comment. But yeah, with the apparently Diaz has it written into his contract that he has 5 rounders, is what the guy was saying. That every fight he has to be a 5 rounder. And Michael, this is what I responded. I said it should be the first 1 round fight in UFC history. They should just make it a 5 minute gunslinging thing.
That's all they can last.
Or they just
I
make it
mean,
a round. You just keep going until someone goes down. Yeah, that's out there. It's signed, sealed, and everything. Yeah, that's what's right. That's what people don't seem to understand about these Abu Dhabi cards and these Saudi Arabia cards. They're not typical fight night cards.
yeah,
And again, the reason why they make it fight night is because there's not if they're willing to pump that much money into things, and I'm assuming there's deals going on. You think they're going to be like, yeah, you can put an event on at 3 o'clock in the morning here? Like, fuck you. There's no pay per view going on over there. And if they do put a pay per view on there, they're not going to do them dirty like they did the UK.
yeah. No,
No way.
yeah. I think it feels like their card, when they put their cards together, they almost have to run it by them to make sure that it's suitable enough, and then they have to come back and make alterations if they need to, which is something that's probably totally new to Dana, to have to be
Say the same
okayed by
thing to
somebody.
anyone.
Yeah,
Yeah. And that's the thing. The atmosphere in those. I mean, the boxing ones have gotten slowly improved, but you like even with the 5x5 thing we saw on the weekend, great as a card as it was, the place was half empty.
yeah,
They don't have enough people there first of all, they don't have enough people there generally, but they clearly don't have enough people who are interested in these events. Like I said, the Abu Dhabi ticket sales have been on for ages. You can still buy front row tickets.
yeah.
Well,
It's
pretty
wild.
much right next to the cage. And they've been like I said, my experience buying tickets this morning, it felt like a race. It felt
Hmm.
like a sprint. It felt like a 100-meter sprint, like to grab whatever tickets you could on pre-sale. Whereas Abu Dhabi card, like I said, you can tune in now and still have your pick of wherever you want to sit.
That's crazy.
And it's been on sale for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Because, like I said, I've lived in that region before, and the majority of people that live there are like they're expats, like they're teachers. They work in, they make up most of the custodial staff or whatever. Stuff that you'll find in like an Adidas store or a restaurant or whatever. There's
Hmm.
very few locals.
Let
It's
me see.
crazy.
Let me see if it'll actually let me look at what the
I
ticket.
Yeah, because I went to go and I considered like buying tickets for there. Like it turned out that I've got like a scheduling conflict, so I couldn't have gone anyway. But yeah, I was literally on there like 3 or 4 days ago, and I'm like, yeah, the tickets are still reasonably expensive, which is a bit strange to me. But yeah, I could have had my pick.
Oh, interesting. So yeah, I'm looking at it, and yeah, there's tons of tickets left.
Do you want to pull it up just to give people an idea, just so people know that
Tons
I'm
of tickets.
gaslighting?
Yeah. Um.
They do events in their own. No, the well, the UFC 304 is at the Manchester. It's at the Co-op Arena. So in the UK, I mean, if they do it in London, they do it in the O2 because it's just big and it's big, but it's also indoor. Whereas a lot of the arenas we have in the UK, they're sort of 12 to 18,000 seaters, which isn't really enough for the UFC. They usually look for like 20,000 plus. So the O2 is ideal for that. But I think the Co-op Arena is about a 20,000 as well, from what I understand. Apparently, it's quite a nice arena. It's relatively new. So yeah, did you
Yeah.
let's have a look here. They've got, I don't know if they're necessarily bigger, but like most of them are just they're arenas that are kind of like they're kind of just they're very new and they're sort of temporary because they're the ones that remember when they had that. Obviously, you guys don't really watch a lot of football, but when they had that World Cup arena, they had like these. They built stadiums literally just for that event that they could then take down and give away.
Yeah.
So it's all really weird. The Abu Dhabi one will probably be bigger because they've been around for a little while.
Let's
Abu
see.
Dhabi is a bit more of a like I don't know, an established nation in terms of it's been around for longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's the atmosphere because the thing is, yeah, for one, nobody can get drunk, which whether they want to address that or not is an issue.
That sucks.
Because if you're waiting around, the thing is, yeah, when you're there live, I can imagine, and I'm going to experience this for the first time at a numbered card, but like, I imagine the waiting around when you're actually there must suck. You know, and you've had a fight and then you're
It
waiting
depends.
20 minutes for the next one to come out.
It depends. Like,
You've obviously experienced it.
yeah, like when I've gone, like the pacing felt wonderful. Like there was not a long lull. Like in between, like they would show, a few things on the screen or whatever
Mm,
to buy the time, but it wasn't it wasn't a ridiculous amount of time between fights. Um and the way that they present it, it's the same that they've always done for years and years and years.
mhm.
When it comes on, you get excited and everybody gets excited in the arena.
Yeah,
But like it doesn't feel like long at all in between fights.
I'm glad to hear that because especially with the card going on until 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, I don't want to have big lulls between fights where I'm like, bloody hell, like, you know, and I'm gonna have somebody with me that's likely to complain throughout the entire thing. So I want to go home.
Yeah.
This is boring. They're hugging each other. Why is this? This is terrible. So yeah, we'll see. But I'm
I
really
got
looking forward
I
to it.
got those tickets pulled up by the way over there.
All right, where's the? I'm not getting a prompt. Oh yeah, well, there we go. So there you got the blue. You can still buy. Is that correct, or is it? Or is it?
Yep, that's right.
That's mad. You see what I'm saying?
The blue you can still buy. So check this out. So say you are trying to save money and you want to just buy cheap seats. That's 195 AED, which is actually only like 50-ish bucks
Mm-hmm.
American. Like that's no money.
But that's obviously in the nosebleeds. I
If you want
think
to sit
these
up,
ones are around like they expect. Like I think they were like 750 or more, 750 maybe,
let me see,
or 400, maybe
54.90.
500. So if you want to be right, on, if you want to be virtually cage side and able to give your fight advice mid fight.
Yeah, if you're like right here where some of the fighters sit, kind of,
Mm-hmm.
that's only $1,500.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, going
Crazy.
back a little bit, like what's this? Yeah, 24.95. Let's see.
But like I
Yeah,
say, these
that's
tickets have
seven
been on
hundred
sale.
dollars.
They've been on sale for like 3 weeks.
$700 will get you cheap seats in at UFC 303 as of now. But
Mm-hmm.
if Connor is for sure back in, because the ticket prices dropped when the speculation of him not being in the fight
I would have
happened.
assumed that it would have sold out already, though. That's quite
That's what
surprising.
that's what Dana said.
He talks
That's
a
what
lot of
Dana
shit.
said.
That guy, that fucking idiot. Yeah.
But I don't know that that's true.
The best atmosphere recently on a card. I've got to go with St. Louis.
Yeah.
St. Louis is the best atmosphere I can remember for a long time. Like I literally felt like that elevated everyone on that card. Like, and what was great, I talked about this in my live stream yesterday. I don't know about you guys, but if I'm buying a ticket to an event, I'm there from the very first fight.
Yep.
Like when the doors open, I'm finding my seat. I'm taking in the whole thing. I'm not turning up just for the main card if I've showed out. However, like any amount of money, I'm not doing that. But the Louisville or sorry, the St. Louis crowd was literally the seats were stacked for everyone was there pretty much from the very first fight, and it showed. It just I think by far for me this year that was the best in terms of atmosphere.
So this is 303 right here. Um yeah, these tickets are insanely priced, but there's still a lot of them. There's still a lot of
That
tickets.
surprises me. I thought that every single one would have been sold out.
No, no, they're
Not even
not.
close by the looks of it.
No.
How much is a ticket next to the like a well, where you can actually see and not have to look at a big screen?
Let's see. So somewhere like in this little outer rim,
Mhm.
uh Let's go here.
Yeah, we've talked about the Apex so often that needs to be murdered immediately. I can't stand the Apex.
Yeah, yeah, 3,500.
That's insanity. That is insane. And that card is not that good. You're basically paying
It's
that to go
not.
see. You're paying that to maybe hopefully see Ian Gary get knocked out, which for me is worth any amount of money.
Yeah,
If you can guarantee
10,000.
me that, I'd be happy to pay that amount. But
This seat here at the front where you might have the fighters walk past here. That's $10,000.
that's 10,000. Wow, that is
Yeah,
cheeky. That is cheeky.
yeah, that's absurd. But yeah, there's tons of tickets left, tons. So for them to
Interesting.
say that it's sold out, like I don't know about that.
Well,
This
it
is
clearly,
directly from
clearly
their
isn't.
site. This isn't like I went through um another site to get to this site. Like I went directly from the UFC site to here.
I mean, the proof is in the pudding right there. Every area is blue. That surprises me, and it's not that far out. It's only 6 weeks.
Yeah,
That's cheeky, that is. But I imagine, like I said, the ticket prices are probably going to plummet in the next few weeks, regardless,
they're
because
gonna have to. They're gonna have to if they want to get sold. And he was talking about Dana was talking about it being the first $20 million gate. If those ticket prices drop, it won't be.
But what that's what I'm saying. Why would you say that? Why would you say that a fight is or a card is sold out when it's not? Because then people are just going to listen to that and go, "Oh, I might as well not even check then."
Yeah,
I don't get that from a. I mean, obviously, when the card goes down, there's not going to be you're not going to see big empty spaces or anything like that. I imagine they will sell them all out eventually.
yeah.
But
I
it's like,
imagine it will get sold out, but yeah, like you said, like it'll get people to be like, well, I might as well not even check. I might as well start up setting my plans to watch the pay-per-view, with some friends or something like that.
yeah, the thing is, this is how bad it is. If that exact same card had have been in the UK and I could have got it for the same price as I got UFC 304 for, I wouldn't have gone.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have gone. Like the UFC 304 is stacked. Like you've got Manel Cap on there. You've got Arnold Allen on there in a good fight with Jakedzi.
Hmm.
Um, obviously you've got Tom and Leon both fighting. It's a great
Yeah.
card. As soon as I saw that lineup, I was like, I've got to. Like the Manel Cap one was just "Oh, I've got to do it now. Whatever happens, I've got to do it now.
Yeah.
You know. But that's a card I was willing to like. I was like, as soon as I saw it, I'm like, I'll have whatever I have to do. And that's why I was so nervous yesterday about buying tickets this morning because I'm like, oh man, I felt like there's been a build up to it.
You know what I'm curious about is with Dana saying earlier in the year, and I mean we're gonna have to hold him to this as a community, but him saying that he wants to be out of the apex, what places that they haven't gone should they go to? Like I'm curious where people think that the UFC should go. Um, because if we don't give them suggestions of places that they can sell out, we're gonna be right back in that apex.
But the thing is, though, this is it because like the St. Louis card was testament to that. It's like if you just take it to places where they haven't seen the fights for a long time live, they're gonna sell out. You can
Yeah,
pretty much it's laziness on their part. Like if you go anywhere in America that hasn't had a fight card for a year or two, it's gonna sell out
yeah,
or longer, even especially if it's longer. And the same applies to Europe. If you put a fight card in France, in Poland, they're gonna sell out.
yeah. Man,
They're going to sell out.
UFC Paris was insane.
Mm.
That crowd was wild.
I'm
Like I
surprised they
loved,
haven't got something booked already for there because
I loved it.
the
Like that
French
was
crowd are
that
fucking
was cool.
amazing as well.
Yeah,
All the white flag waving they do. They they're a passionate people who make a good atmosphere.
yeah. Like I thought that one, like when I don't know who brought it up, but as far as like the atmosphere thing, like to me, like St. Louis was up there. France is definitely up there.
Mm. Yeah. It's a what can I say? Like it's definitely like a convenience thing, and I get it. If you're going places from week to week, and you have to bring the whole show with you and everything, there's obviously stress that goes into that whenever you go to a new arena.
Hmm.
But
I mean, I think that they just have to come to the realization that this is a circus, and the circus
yeah,
doesn't stay in the same city all the time. You got to go to other cities.
yeah, they do. Like I think that they will phase it out. I think it's just a matter of the world's getting obviously way back to normal now.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, and again, like as Mikey's saying though, like even that UFC Columbus card, I'm not paying $400 and looking at a big screen all night. There's no way. I'm either going in and paying a lot to be as close to the cage as possible, or I'm not going.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't even pay $50 for nosebleeds, no matter what the card is. I just wouldn't. I don't see the point in going to an event and then staring at a big screen. There's no point in my opinion. I mean, I know the atmosphere is good and everything.
Hmm.
You can soak in the atmosphere, but if I can't see what's going on as well as I could do at home, what's the point?
Yeah.
I'm not
It's
going.
true.
So I'm with
It's a lot to pay for atmosphere.
yeah. But I'm with you. I mean, again, it's that the Ireland would sell out. I mean, the funny thing is like the same situation I described with Abu Dhabi. I mean, I know it's Bellator, but the Irish crowd are usually very good at, they usually turn out, and you can still get really good Bellator seats, and that card's only 2 weeks out. But
If
it's
they
Bellator,
if
so
the UFC went to Ireland, who would headline? If it's not Connor, can't be Connor. Are you choosing Ian Gary? Is he still kind of Irish?
no, he's not liked wherever he goes. I don't think his own family like him.
Who headlines? That's my question.
It doesn't have to necessarily be headlined by an Irish fighter. I think if you had Irish fighters sprinkled around the card, like there's that girl who's fighting. What's that girl who's coming in? That Irish girl who's coming in. Is she at 303? Oh no, she's on 304. I think. Hang on, let's just double check that. There's a few Irish fighters. There's that long lane, whatever his name is.
Oh yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah, he's
You can
fighting
throw
soon.
in, yeah, Shauna Bannon, Colin Lorraine, and Shauna Bannon, who are both actually fighting at Manchester. They've got quite a good Irish following.
Ooh, well, nah, you couldn't do that. It'd have to be a numbered card. I was going to say a person you could have headline it is Sean O'Malley, but it would have to be a numbered card for that.
Oh yeah, O'Malley would definitely work in Ireland.
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
Hmm.
Yeah. But I agree with the fight franchise. I think like as long as you put on because they are very knowledgeable fans and they're down, the atmosphere is always good in Ireland. If you put great fights on, they will come. And I bet the Bellator card will sell out as well.
Yeah.
Like eventually. I think that Irish people are more relaxed in that way. They're not stressing to go and buy tickets as soon as they come out.
Yeah.
Like that card will sell out, even though it's Bellator and it's lame as fuck. That will sell out. I'm pretty confident about that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. It's an exciting. Like I said, I haven't been to a live event in a very long time, so I'm pretty amped. We all know what happened with the one situation, so I'm chomping at the bit even more. Hopefully the I don't get the time wrong for the Dublin card, and it's 7 o'clock in the morning again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Double check, the AM and PM on
double
that one.
check. I might just camp out there from the day before just to make sure that mistakes don't happen
Sleep in
again.
your seat. Just
Get a
go to
sleeping
the
bag,
seat and sleep in there.
cooked outside. I might have to. But yeah, in terms of this weekend, I'm very like I said, there's value on the card. And I do think it's actually a better card than I originally thought it was. There's definitely things worth tuning in for. It's going to be a fuckload better than 302. I can virtually guarantee that.
Hey, you know what? If you looked at just the undercard and didn't know which one of these was a numbered event, you would definitely think that this one was the numbered event.
Yeah, you would. You would. You would. It's
way
that
better
it was
undercard.
bad, and I do need to state that again because I only said it like 50 times when we did the watch along, and I don't think 50 was enough. It's the worst card I've ever seen.
It was rough.
Yeah, it's the worst card I've ever seen. But yeah, I got high hopes for this weekend, and there's you know, hopefully we'll get the Connor news that we all want to hear because as funny as it was seeing him in a scramble and all the stuff that's going on, it would be devastating to that card if he gets dropped off it.
Yeah, it would be.
And it
They might
also
cancel
means
that
we
thing.
get Connor and him dragged out for it because they'll probably try and rebook it again as well. I don't want that. Just
I just
be
want to get this fight over with.
mm,
I don't care who wins or loses. Just get it over with.
yeah. I'm out. I'm out in terms of that fight, and hopefully it will get done, and it will. I still think that card needs one more fight though.
One more big fight.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would help.
I know Volkanovski was talking about jumping in against Chandler. I would. How do
He
you
needs
think
to
that
sit
would go?
down. He needs to sit down. Um, I don't want to see Volkanovski jumping into anything at this
Mm.
point, especially against somebody who throws with that much ferocity. No, no,
And Chandler looks like a proper 170 pounder right now.
that's a no.
He looks big.
Yeah, no. Please don't do that. Volkanovski was talking about, that he could fight Dustin Poirier in a legacy fight. Like, nah, please don't. Don't do that. Don't do
Yeah,
that to
I've
me.
his like I said, he went from having a potential GOAT level legacy to now being is he the best featherweight even?
I mean,
Painful.
I just don't want to see him go down the Tony Ferguson path.
No. And it could very much go that way. 2 chin-ins in a row. We've seen this a million times.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be a very sad ending for him because I don't want him to be looked back on as oh he was never really that good because that was never there was a point where this man was the best fighter on the planet. I
Yeah.
genuinely believe that. When he beat the fuck out of Korean Zombie and he had that run we know where he had like certain fights strung together where he was and that for me that third Max fight was the pinnacle.
That was the one. That was the one. When he did that, I was like, okay, I clearly have been sleeping on this man the whole time. And it
Yeah.
was because I thought that Max was better, looking at those first 2 fights. That third fight, no, no.
Yeah, that was when I was like this guy could be we could be talking about him amongst Jones and Mighty Mouse and
Yeah.
GSP, which is why again he's on those 4 on my banner. I was like, this is the guy now. This is it. I don't see anyone beating him like in a fair at his right weight, And things have changed.
So before we jump off, um, on Alex, um, who do you think he should fight next, and when do you think that he should fight next?
Yeah, I'm interested to know what you guys think. I mean, he obviously spoke about fighting Poirier. Would you like that fight?
No, Poirier destroys that man's life.
You think so?
Yeah,
I don't.
I do. Not to say, and it's not because of a deficiency from Alex at his peak. I just don't think that Alex is at his peak anymore.
No, I think if they booked that fight, if they said, for example, it's happening in December and he had 6 months to properly acclimatize, train properly, get up to 155 the right way, I think he would beat Dustin Poirier. But if you throw him in at like similar circumstances as he did with even the first Makhachev fight, which came fairly quickly, he didn't really get a lot of time to. I think Volk is that good, and I'm not shitting on your boy as much as I don't want. I'm not doing that. I think Volk is a much better fighter.
I think that he's more dynamic. He's more adaptable. His IQ is higher. In the terms of legacy, like his legacy is much, much, much larger. However, I just something about the way that things have gone down for him. I feel like his his downturn has started already, and Dustin's hasn't started yet. That's really the only reason why I would pick Dustin in that. If we're going peak Poirier versus peak Volkanovski, yeah, I think Volkanovski wins.
Yeah,
I just don't think he's at his peak anymore or anywhere
yeah.
close. Something happened. Something happened.
Well, something happened. He jumped off the couch when he shouldn't have, and then got when I saw him on the scale for that second Makachev fight, I was like, oh shit! I've never seen him look that fluffy. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
I
he
was
was
worried
totally
instantly, and he looked a bit sluggish, and then got chinned, obviously. And then he's thinking, oh my God, I've been chinned. I need to fix this immediately. And then he's made the same mistake again, jumping in there with Tapuria way too quickly.
yeah.
Didn't need to do it was more the I don't think it's necessarily a decline from that perspective. I think it was just very poor. I'm a company man. I'm going to jump in there. I'm going to obviously get well paid. There's a chance to snatch legacy here. Because he probably thought to himself, worst case scenario, if I jump in here on short notice the second time, he was probably thinking in his head, I almost beat him the first time. All right, I haven't had a peak training, but there's still things I can see that I can do to win that fight, or at least get out of it in 5 rounds again. And that's not you don't do that against someone like Makachev,
Nope.
who is training like a beast, and then you get in there not 100%. You have to be 100% to give that kind of performance against. And he misread the situation completely. And then obviously he got chinned, and then panic set in. He's like, shit, like my reputation's in tatters right now. I've just been knocked out for the first time. And then he makes
Mhm.
another poor decision. Whereas now I think like he's probably gonna the fact that he hasn't rushed in too quickly already. I know he's talking about it with jumping in for 303, but he might just be saying that. We don't really know what the full thing is behind that. Thanks for that. Thanks for that shout out, Western. Yeah,
Yeah,
if you guys could throw up a like, that would be fantastic.
for sure. Um, I don't know. I just, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of it reminds me of so my dad back in the day, my dad was super fast, just super fast dude, right?
Hmm.
And I went with him to he's playing softball, and he just went out there, didn't stretch, didn't warm up, just went out there and started playing, and he was stealing first, from first to second, and tore his hamstring, tore it up. And from that point on, he was never the same.
Yeah,
Never the same. He rehabbed it, got it better. He was just never
never
the
the
same.
same. Yeah.
And that's what it feels like. He's like Alex didn't prepare for that moment, and it obviously showed in the fight. I mean, wasn't nothing he could do about it. And I feel like is that's what's happening is he'll never be the same.
But I will give like I'm with Mo on this one though. I think I would expect that if the rematch does happen, and I have gone on record saying this more than once, like I think he would show much better in the rematch than he did in the. I expect the second fight with Tapuria, if it does happen, assuming he takes the time, doesn't take another fight because he rightly deserves that rematch in my opinion.
Hmm.
I know he's
Yeah,
lost two, but he lost one at a weight class at short notice, and he went
but he
he
deserves
defended
it.
enough. He deserves it.
He
There's no
deserves it.
question of that. I don't think anyone's saying he doesn't.
Yeah.
I think if he takes the time and takes the fight at the end of the year, I expect that to be way closer. I could see it being a 5 round. I could see it going very similar to the way that his first fight went with Makachev.
I would hope
Here,
so.
the
Like
second
I
one.
would pray to all the
I
MMA
don't think he
guys.
gets starched. I really don't. I really don't. I think he'll be a lot more. I don't think he respected how powerful Tapuria was as well. And again, I think he
Mhm.
was winning the fight. He got complacent and got. It happens. I'm not done with him yet. There's no way. I know his age and whatnot, but I think he's going to learn from it. He seems like a pretty smart guy.
He is. He's a very smart dude. And like I said, I think that his fight IQ is right up there with, Mighty Mouse, John, like some of the best fight IQ ever. Dominic Cruz,
Hmm.
like really, really high fight IQ.
Cerebral is what he is like. And again, it shows in that if you want like an example of how cerebral Volkanovski is, you just have to look at just play the 3 fights with Max Holloway back to back and just see the adjustments and stuff that he made for those fights. It says everything about the man. And even the first Makachev fight, he was very well prepared for what he was doing in there. The game plan for me was look at what Makachev has been doing to people since there has never he's never been taken that close. The most recent version of Makachev has
Yeah.
never looked that vulnerable. he genuinely looked like, oh fuck. I mean, there are images of that fight where you see him looking like, what is wrong with this guy?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I mean, true. If there was a round 6 in that fight, Volkanovski finishes Islam.
yeah, yeah, I firmly believe that as well. I think
Mhm.
if Volkanovski had realized how much advantages he had earlier on in the fight, he would have won as well. Because I think it clicked for him a little bit too late. Where in the fourth round, I think he got hit with a couple things, and he's like, "Hang on a second, I'm fine. I can go through this." And that's when he took over.
Yeah.
I think if that had happened sooner, if he'd realized it sooner, he would have. I think he would have won that fight. And now that we're looking down the barrel of, is he washed? I think is so. It just shows how brutal this sport is.
It is.
It really
It
is.
is. It is. I
Yeah.
just hope that he doesn't rush back into this rematch too soon.
No,
Um,
I don't think Ilya wants to either, which is the benefit that he's getting. Because I think Ilya's thinking, I need time to. Because Ilya did get hurt a little bit in that fight as well,
mhm.
and he doesn't seem like the kind of guy to rush in as well. Like I do think Tapuria. I mean, I'd favor Tapuria to win the fight, but I think it's going to be much harder for him the next time. Mo thinks Tapuria is trash. I mean, the thing I would say about Tapuria, I know we're getting ready to sign off soon, but like I would say with Tapuria is, outside of the Emmett win, which was very impressive. He obviously, that was one of the most dominant decisions. It was, like I said, it's in the pantheon with like when Max beat up, um, what's his name, Brian Ortega, and beat
Mhm.
up Qatar. It's in there amongst, in terms of those level fights, the sustained beating that was dished out. But apart from that, he's got him, and he's got obviously starching out Volkanovski. But he was losing that fight up until he knocked him out. Volk looked very comfortable, too comfortable was maybe the problem.
Yeah.
So I can see why you have that opinion, because like there's a very small sample size we're looking at. He's obviously looked very good in fights, but you remember as well when he was fighting Jai Herbert and he got fucking head kicked.
Yes,
And
he
Jai
did.
Herbert being a very rangy guy, if Jai Herbert was clued in enough, he could have finished that fight
Yeah. Then we're not talking about Ilya Taporia right now.
at all. He had him out of there. He was gone. So
Yeah.
I can see and like I said, I think he will be a tougher out the next time.
I hope so. I definitely hope so. I don't want to see him go down that path.
And that's a good analogy, like a comparison from the fight franchise as well. With the when Kamaru got knocked out in that second fight, it just felt like something was taken from him. He seemed a lot more tentative, like he was worried about the, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So I think like I said, it's interesting. It could be. I still have faith that would be that the rematch would be different.
I hope so.
You do, I really do. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, there's still stuff to look forward to towards the end of the year. We've got some obviously champions who are coming back, and I'm personally like really looking forward to what's to come. But nothing's booked just yet, and we've got the immediate future to deal with.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I don't even care about the Connor situation that much. I really don't. That might sound harsh, but it's just I'm more concerned about it just because the card is that terrible, or
It
not
is
terrible, but
bad.
it's just not good enough. It's not good enough for an international fight week numbered card.
No, I would have thought they did better, but I guess because UFC 300 was this year as well, um, that kind of throws things off a little bit. But they could have done better than this.
Yeah, we've got 11 people. It actually says we've got 30 with our combined streams. We've actually got 32 in here, which is
Yeah,
pretty sweet. Which is great. And again, I want to give a shout out to all of you for jumping in on this. I know I do this. I don't want you guys to ever think for a second that we're not grateful for, because this is what makes them.
for
Like,
sure.
you guys coming in and chatting makes it the difference between a snooze fest and like an engaging conversation. Um, and yeah, as far as the Shabcat title shot goes, I think they'll do the JDM fight next, and then the winner of that will
If
get.
JDM can get healthy.
with JDM getting, because I think he'll wait a couple of weeks. I think I can see that it might not happen in Perth, but Shavkat might get his wish now. We might get that in Abu Dhabi a month later. I can see that being a potential matchup.
Yeah.
They're definitely on a course for each other because I think Shavkat knows, or in Shavkat's head, he's thinking, I need one more. I want to have one more before I get in there with Leon.
Hmm.
I almost said or Bilal. I almost said or Bilal.
Hey, he could shock the world, man. He could.
If he does it when I'm there live, I'm going to be so angry.
That's gonna be so
Like,
funny.
I'm going to be so mad if that happens.
That's gonna be wild.
I'll hate him even more after that. Like, if that's even possible,
It
I'll
messed
be
up your night.
furious. That would ruin my night. Like, if he loses, if Aspinall gets chinned by Blades somehow, and then if Manel Cap loses as well, you might not see me for a few weeks. You know, I might need some time to recover from that. Those are the three that I'm worried about. I can take Arnold Allen losing. I mean, I think Giga Chikadze is way overrated as well. So
Yeah.
I'm really disappointed if
As
that
long
happens.
as he doesn't let him land that Giga kick, he'll be fine.
Wait, hang on a second. Let me just address this for a moment. I need to say this here. I'm not gonna say exactly where you live, Mr. Fight Franchise, but Leon, you could literally throw a stone probably and hit Leon Edwards in the head. That's how in close proximity you are, and he's going for Bilal. I'm disappointed, bro. I thought
You
you were a
gotta,
Leon guy all the way.
yeah, you would think that you would pull for your neighbors there. That's your neighbor now. That's wild.
I'm honestly, that hurts. I'm not gonna lie, that's disappointing.
Disrespectful.
Disrespectful is what it is. Say that's right, disrespectful. That
Yeah.
surprises me. Yeah, but I think Bilal's gonna get fucking destroyed. I think he is.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, I did see that. I did talk about that yesterday as well. That this was a really funny interaction, I have to say. The when Makachev basically, and Makachev did say I think he did name check Leon, right? So that was a bit telling as well. He obviously thinks that Leon's going to win as well, but like
Mhm.
um Bilal's like, nah, bro, like let me. I think the exact plead on Twitter was, no, let me beat up some of the younger guys, and you go up and fight. You could beat Drickus. Go and fight Drickus. That was the most desperate. This is again just another reason why this guy is just a weasel that I don't like.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say
that's
it. I'm gonna call it as it is.
why he keeps on finding ways to make people not like him.
I tell you now, yeah, like I said this yesterday, I'll say it again. Islam's taking that fight without hesitation.
Yeah,
If you're the champion, he's definitely fighting you because he's seen you in the gym. And I think the exact thing I said yesterday was you might be a brother in terms of in that way, but you ain't a brother in the gym.
nope.
Do you know what I mean? He would fight you 100%.
Yeah, yeah. And I favor Islam in that matchup.
Can't believe that. That's a hot take right there. Islam Makhachev beating Bilal Muhammad. Oh, but that goes to that says it all. And I've also seen a lot of they released the odds for a potential Makhachev and Leon fight.
Oh, they have?
Mm-hmm. And Leon's a minus 180. And Twitter's been going into meltdown about that.
I don't know why.
Like they're printing money. Like I don't think they understand the threat that Leon poses. And
I don't know.
the fact that Leon's minus 180, and you know that the majority of betting money is going to come in on Makhachev. Because the amount of nut riders that guy has, the fact that Leon is placed as a minus 180 to start things out says it all about how like this people in the know understand the skill level because they're not willing to put Leon as an underdog, and he's not. I imagine the bulk of bets are going to be for Makhachev.
Yeah, I don't think so.
That's just how I feel. No way Bilal would smoke Makhachev. Mikey, I'm not sure if you're trolling sometimes, if you're just trying to bait me. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. Nobody can have that opinion and mean it. That's a clear troll right there if I've ever seen one. There's no way. I'm not saying Bilal's not effective, because he is, but there's a certain limit, I feel.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Yeah.
like Leon's been doing the media rounds here in the UK quite a lot recently,
Hmm.
and he did bring up a lot of Bilal's opponents, and I do think this needs to be discussed while we're here. Um,
Well, actually, you carry on. I got to jump.
I'm gonna
But
continue. Yeah, I'll keep going.
yeah.
I'll catch you in a bit, bro. Thanks for stopping by
Okay.
again. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Yeah, so he beat Gilbert Burns, who's way past it. He beat Sean Brady, whose striking's not great, and he's no threat on the ground. He's got good wrestling, but he's not really a finisher. He beat Vicente Luque, who obviously came back from his brain bleed. He beat Stephen Thompson, who, again, there's a clear path to victory there, and he beat a washed Damian Maya. I don't think his run has been that good. I don't think his run's been that impressive at all. So, like, I'm not that invested in the whole thing. I think, like, if you look at the fact that I know that people shit on Colby all the time now as well, but he beat Colby convincingly, applying his game. Or he did beat up Luque before the brain bleed. I didn't realize that. But again, it still doesn't. I mean, Luque's a good win, but Luque does not stack up to beating Usman twice and even beating Colby, in my opinion. I know Colby didn't turn up that night, but I think Leon, it's the same thing that when people criticize Strickland. It's like Leon stifles you. It makes it very, very difficult to apply your game plan. And I don't see anyone who watched that first fight that he had with when Leon fought Bilal the first time, that first round, and they see, oh man, like Bilal's gonna steamroll Leon, or he's gonna do what he wants to. Nah, man. Looking at that fight, there's nothing that told me in that first 5 minutes that Bilal's got anything for Leon. Maybe I'm trying to push that out there, because I would genuinely be devastated if Bilal beat Leon. I really would. But from the sample we saw, he couldn't take him down, and he was getting pieced up. He's lucky he got poked in the eye, because he wouldn't be in the title fight right now, in my opinion. You think Leon's got to get a finish? I completely disagree. Leon's gone 5 rounds so many times, and he wins rounds by piecing people up. And Bilal is not going to be anything for him on the feet. I said this last night. The way that I see this going, I can see Bilal getting 2 rounds, because I can maybe see him taking him down. But Leon's very good at getting back up. Very long-limbed, explosive. I can see him being able to get back up. I don't see Bilal wet blanketing Leon for entire rounds. I can see Bilal potentially winning 2 rounds that way, taking him down for parts, having a little bit of control time. But I can see Leon piecing him up for 3 rounds on the feet, no problem. Because they're just not in the same realm when it comes to the striking. Bilal's striking is not good. And as we've spoken about in the past, Leon is a very good technical striker. And the fact that he's evolved his takedown game to such an extent, I don't give Bilal a prayer in that fight. I really don't. I do give him a prayer. That's bullshit. Again, I'm talking out my ass there. But nah, man, I think Leon's gonna win this relatively comfortably. Relatively comfortably. That's what I'm going for. I do think it will be a decision though. But mind you, if we get that Leon that came out and was aggressive, like he was against Bilal in the first fight, I could potentially see it finish. So what's the Leon hatred about exactly, Mo? I'm interested to hear your take on this. What's the hate about? I'm curious, because I think the guy's personality is, he's too inactive. Let's delve into that for a second, because I don't think he is inactive. Leon Edwards. So let's look at who he's fought, or how often he's fought. So he fought in March 2023. He fought in August 2022, and then in March. So that's 6 months, roughly 6-7 months between the two Kamaru Usman fights. Then he fought Colby. Let's see, 9 months. But the thing is, yeah, I do think that the issue, and again, he said he was going to fight at UFC 300, or he wanted to fight at UFC 300, which would have been a 3-month turnaround, but they were saving him for Manchester. So it's I think it's partially not his fault as well, because he's clearly put himself out there and said he wants to be active. And we know that Colby was playing games as well in terms of when he wanted to fight. And he was promised the fight after he made weight as the backup, which was always a very odd decision. I tend to, I think Leon's not blowing smoke. I think he makes himself available, and they just go, no, we're going to put you here. Because let's be honest, Leon's not a big draw, but if you put him in Manchester, he does have a lot of UK fans. So you're maximizing the most out of Leon Edwards in that situation in terms of ticket sales. I think. I don't think he sells pay-per-views whatsoever, but I think he would sell tickets in his home crowd. I think calling him inactive is a bit harsh, but I can agree. And again, even with his fight style, I can agree with this to a certain extent, because I think he's like a slightly better version of Sean Strickland in terms of excitement. And that the issue with Leon is that it sometimes looks very boring, but when you look at it from a technical aspect, he's just very stifling. He makes it very, very difficult for you to apply your game plan on. And it's shown in the fights that he's had in the last, he's undefeated in 10 years? I don't think it might not be that long. Let's see, his last loss was against Kamaru Usman in 2015, so almost 10 years. And look at the names he's beaten. Barberena, Donald Cerrone, Gunnar Nelson. Yeah, Rafael dos Santos, Nate Diaz, Kamaru Usman twice, and Colby Covington. But in all those fights, he was just able to apply his game plan. And it's just, I think that's what pulls him over the line here. I think he's just very difficult to deal with, like very rangy. And now that he's added good takedown defense to his game, because wrestling was an issue that he did have. And think about the fights that he has lost. He's got 3 losses on his record. One of them was an illegal knee. One of them was a split decision. And one of them was against Kamaru Usman. This guy's very tough to beat. He might not be the most exciting. If you're talking about excitement, I can get why there's issues, but it depends who you pair him up against. He's fought 3 wrestlers in a row, essentially. So I don't know. I think the Leon Edwards hate is a little bit strong, but I do get it. I get it. Like, and the thing is with the vocal thing, again, if you see him in interviews and stuff, he's actually quite funny. I quite enjoyed his little interactions with Kamaru Usman as well. I think we saw a great deal of his personality in that one as well. And again, no. Let's get the narrative right on the fence grabbing. This is another thing that's really unfair, because if you think about the first fight that he had with Kamaru grabbed his gloves, he grabbed the fence multiple times in the first fight and got away with it. And Kamaru also grabbed the fence twice in their second fight and didn't get pulled for it. And then as soon as Leon did it, he got disqualified. I will say this though, the Leon fence grab was very, very bad. Like the one he actually did was as blatant as it gets. Like the cage literally bent. But I don't think he's somebody who generally does that. Like, I don't know if he did it. He might have done it once against Colby, now that I'm remembering. But remember, he went in there and out wrestled Colby. Like, he took Colby down, which we haven't seen. So I think Leon is greatly underrated for his skills. And I think he's got the kind of striking game that's so effective. It's not like he's going to knock you out, but he's very good at piecing you up. Yeah, and again, I have to, like, I know it's a case of I'm doing the whole whataboutism thing or what about Usman, but he did it a lot in that fight, and I just think Leon got pissed off in that moment. I genuinely think he did. It's just that Colby had a broken toe. Yeah, possibly, but I mean, Leon's got no wrestling, or had no wrestling ability up to that moment, and the timing of the double leg was really good. He just wanted to prove a point that I can outstrike you and then I can beat you. I can do what you can do as well. Which for me was, he got a lot of stick. Again, he got a lot of stick for that Colby fight, but Colby again was to blame for that being. And I thought the second Usman fight was a really good performance. I don't look at Leon fighting and think, oh my God, I'm so bored. I've never really been bored watching him fight. But again, it comes down to your preferences, doesn't it? Like, it genuinely does. I can get why people would watch his style and think, he's not the most exciting to watch. But there were big periods again where Usman wasn't the most exciting to watch and got a lot of hate for it. So I don't know. And I think he's actually quite funny. He's got like a weird voice. He's got a very nasally voice and a very strange laugh. Like, he laughs weird. But I think he's got a bit of a sense of humor. He's a funny enough guy. And I enjoyed his interactions with Usman like quite a lot. Like, I genuinely enjoyed them. I thought they were quite funny. You know, I like Leon Edwards, and it's not just. And again, it's not a British bias, because there's a lot of British fighters that I have hated. And I mean, Paddy Pimblett's one that I often think of. I used to really hate Paddy Pimblett, and I've warmed up to him a little bit more. Still don't really like him, but I definitely like him more than I did. But it's not even a bias thing for me. I think Leon Edwards has got he's got an interesting enough personality when you actually see him speak. He just doesn't put himself out there that much. And the same goes for his fight style. I find it engaging. I find it interesting. I just do. But that's me. Like, that's me. And again, I can't even shit on anyone who disagrees with that. It's just from what I see and what I like in fighters, I find him exciting. The way he uses range, the way he switches stances, the way he uses every limb. I mean, the way he set up Usman for that head kick was a thing of beauty. And I know that's an isolated thing, but his IQ in there is very high. And that's where I think Bilal's going to come unstuck. I really do. I think that he needs to go. And the thing is, if he does get beaten by Bilal, he's not going to get a rematch. That's not the kind of guy you give a rematch to. So if he loses, you guarantee they'll be signing that Islam fight the next day. And Bilal will be crying it. He'll be crying into his belt. He'll win it and then be like, I finally did it. And then it'll be like, they'll be calling him being like, so Islam in December. And then he'll be crying himself to sleep, clinging onto that belt for as long as he can. I'm not saying that Bilal can't beat Leon. I'm not saying that. I think part of the reason why I'm so egregiously coming out with such ferocity is because I don't want it to happen that badly. You know? The narratives comes from the result of his fights that aren't bad. Yeah, I think that's a reasonable thing to say. Who can't beat Leon? I thought you were picking Bilal. Are you saying Bilal can't beat Leon? Or were you trolling me? Did you get me? Did I take the bait? Nah, I think Leon. Oh, Bilal can't beat Leon. So you got me. You were trolling me. I totally fell for that. Yeah, you got me. Because I was thinking, I swear I've talked to you about this before. Yeah. The thing is, I know that Leon's had a lot of decisions, but it's the way that he fights. He's just very tactical. But the thing is with Leon, he doesn't get hit that much. I mean, I know Nate Diaz cracked him. When Leon Edwards gets to the end of his career, I know he sounds like a bit of a mongoloid the way that he talks. He's going to have very little CTE damage at the end of his career because he doesn't get clipped. And again, I don't mean to be funny, but if I was a professional fighter, I wouldn't be a Justin Gaethje type fighter where I'm like, all right, the crowd's going to love me for 6-7 years, but then in 10 years from now, I'm not going to know who my grandkids are. I would take the Leon Edwards approach where I'm very technically sound, very technically responsible, got a very well-rounded game, but also I'm not getting touched that much and I'm winning fights and I'm progressing up the ladder. I'd much rather do the Leon Edwards, Sean Strickland. And again, I understand why people don't like it. Like, I get that. As a fan, you want to see people, you want to see the Justin Gaethje type. You want to see the Justin Gaethjes, the Max Holloways, getting into wars. And I get that from a spectator's point of view. But I can appreciate the other side of it as well. I can appreciate the mind of the fighter being like, I'm not getting into a fucking war for peanuts. Which is what, like I said, when I found out that Strickland was getting 120,000 or 160,000 for fighting Costa, why are you getting in a war for that kind of money? Of course you're going to teep him for 25 minutes and get an easy decision win. Like, fuck that. Like, I'm not, bro. If I'm putting my brain on the line, it's got to be for a lot more money than that. I'm taking the safe approach. And again, I think the thing is with the Nate Diaz fight, a lot of people are not going to admit this because they hate Leon, and a lot of people are just Nate nut huggers. Leon Edwards beat the fuck out of him for pretty much the entirety of that fight. Nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about that. Nice to see you, Dougie. Again, I'm gonna give a quick shout out to Dougie. So to people who are here that don't know about Dougie's channel, he is getting dangerously close to 1,000 subscribers. Great MMA content as well. You get daily videos, you get breakdowns of everything, you get updates on everything news that comes out. Subscribe to Dougie's Corner. Great content. And we've done a couple of collabs in the past as well that have been really fun. So get your ass over to Dougie's Corner and give him a sub, because it's a great channel. And we want to see him get to 1,000 before, what is it, mid-July? You said your birthday was. I think it's mid-July is what you said, if I remember correctly. So get over there and subscribe to Dougie's Corner. Great channel. Yeah, and again, like I said, with the Leon Edwards and Nate Diaz, he was absolutely fucking him up. Nate Diaz, who's seen as a decent MMA boxer, got absolutely schooled for 22 minutes. I think Leon just got kind of like, he was beating him up so much, he got complacent and got clipped. And we've seen it happen loads of times. I mean, if I was fighting Nate Diaz, you can kind of understand why that stage of the fight, you'd feel like you were safe. You were just coasting. And I think that gets downplayed a lot. And that was a good fight. A good technical performance. I think Leon Edwards is way underrated for what he brings to the table. Way underrated. So, I think he's going to get it done. Oh, by the way, Dougie, I don't know if you know yet, I managed to get my, because I think I talked about it a little bit on Twitter. I finally managed to get my UFC 304 tickets. I'm gassed. And they weren't as expensive as I was expecting, so yeah. Yeah, and this is another, I've brought this up in the past as well about the pay bumps. I can understand why people want to fight Conor from the perspective of the headlight, the spotlight that it puts on you is amazing. But if you've got a contract, you're not getting more money. And that is why, again, I'm not too critical of Leon Edwards calling him out, because he gets the pay-per-view points. If you're a champion, it makes all the sense in the world to call out Conor McGregor or to ask for that fight. Because you're a champion that gets pay-per-view points that McGregor's going to pull in. It makes I don't think you should be criticized for that. But as Black Betty's pointed out, you don't get a bump if you're not a champion. Cerrone was on 200,000. He got 200,000 for that fight. And it wasn't a great thing having the spotlight on himself that night, because he got ridiculed for that shit. So, and he got told that he shouldn't even be in there. A legend like Cerrone was told he shouldn't even be in there. Nice one, Dougie. Take it easy, brother. Are you out fishing again, Weston? Fucking hell, man. I'm really looking forward to bending your ear about the fishing. I'm thinking I might do something in the next couple of weeks. So I'm definitely going to be asking for some in-depth advice on where to go. But no, I mean, I've got 14 in my live, and I've got there's another 21 that are lurking on Twitter. So again, fair play to everyone for being here. Really grateful for that. And yeah, remember, get over to Dougie's Corner if you are not there already. Great channel. Yeah. So yeah, if there's anything else you guys want to talk about, shoot away. I'm happy to hang around for a little bit longer. I know we got through quite a few topics last night, but for those people that weren't here, if there's anything in particular you want to fire off on, go for it. I'm happy to answer anything or to discuss anything, really. Even if it's not MMA related. Even if you want to talk about Fanny, I'm down for that as well. But yeah, we're doing a lot more. I'm not sure what I should do in terms of the 304 experience. I might do I've been talking about maybe doing a vlog for a little while, even though I think vlogs are fucking lame. It's kind of different if you're doing it going to a card. But I was thinking the other day, like, I'm going to go to the Bellator card, as I've said, in the next couple of weeks. And I'm probably going to be watching the UFC card on my phone. That's going to be that. So, yeah. So like we were talking about earlier, it's looking like there's a chance that Conor might survive on the card, which is obviously great. It is sad. I'll probably be watching more of the UFC card than I will be. The main reason I'm going to this Bellator card is I'm a massive Jason Jackson fan. I don't know if you guys know who that is. He's the welterweight champion at Bellator. The thing is, man, no, they can't. And we were talking about this earlier. Like, I didn't realize this, but there are still tons of tickets left for that free event. So they haven't sold it out yet. Like, we did a little graphic where we pulled up the tickets that are still available for 303. And the front row tickets, Dougie, $10,000. $10,000. They're probably going to be worth about $20 if Conor pulls out. If you've bought a ticket already, you are shitting yourself right now. Because as I said, the MVP Gary fight's a nice one. The Allberg and Hill fight is obviously relevant, but you're not paying $3,000 to go watch that shit. You're not. Even if you're someone who's like, I really want to see Gary get chinned out by MVP, you're not paying $3,000 for that. You're not. I mean, Mayra Bueno Silva is the feature fight on that card against Chasson. Nobody gives a fuck about that. Nobody. The fact that that is the feature fight of an International Fight Week card is bananas. It makes no sense. But no, it definitely doesn't justify $3,000. And like I said, $10,000 for some of the front, like the ones in the front tier. Are you mad? This is what I'm saying. Dana White comes out every week and he goes, "We broke the fucking gate receipt." That is not something you should be announcing. It's not, because all that says is you're overcharging for tickets. That's all it says. Because the event's going to sell out. Like, there have been events there that have sold out with the same amount of seats. Whether they've been concerts, whether they've been other fights going on, they've sold out. All you're telling the world is we charge an extraordinary amount for those tickets. Like, that's all you're saying every time you sit there, like looking like a thumb on a weekend, and then saying, "Oh yeah, we broke the gate this weekend." Shut the fuck up. And then it comes out that you're paying fighters a pittance and all. It comes across as so like tactless and tacky to me to do that every week. You bald cunt. Shut up. But yeah, I'm with you as well. I'm with you as well, Betty. It has fallen off a cliff. Like, this year has been, I mean, 301 turned out to be really good, better than we were expecting. The numbered cards, by and large, apart from 303, have been decent watches. But it's the way that they've conducted themselves throughout this entire thing. The way that they built up the 300 card and all the messing around with that was awful. Awful. And we did get St. Louis, which was a really good card. There's been one or two along the way, but generally the cards have not been great. Did you know that Las Vegas has laws that ensures you can refund if the main event changes? Yes. The thing is, it's actually, I noticed that when I bought the 304 ticket, because I bought like ticket insurance for it as well. And it says in the small print that you cannot refund the ticket in the event of the main event changing. You can change it if the event gets moved, which, let's face it, is never going to happen. But that's interesting that that's in there. I might have to double check the fine print to see that if I was right about that. But again, they must be shitting themselves, because of course you're going to refund if Conor McGregor's not on the. You're going to refund and then wait for it to go down and then buy the ticket again, probably. I mean, the thing is, it's not going to hurt their bottom line in terms of where they're really shitting bricks. Is they're probably thinking pay-per-views are going to be huge. We're going to get paid. I know they make a lot of money from the gate, and they do. But the pay-per-view is where they're really going to take a smack in the mouth. Because if Conor McGregor's not on it, that goes from being 900,000 pay-per-view buys at a minimum at $85 a pop to probably be in 150, 200,000. And the difference in revenue in that is enormous. That blows out whatever they make at the gate on the night. But they're definitely going to get hit in both. They're definitely going to get, the thing is here, the event is going to sell out. It's just a question of how much is it going to sell out. This is where it comes into it. But no, I appreciate you stopping by, Doug. When are you doing your next live stream before you head off? Are you going live tonight or in the morning while you're at work, which I love? I wish I could do that when I was working. That'd have been sick. But in my line of work, it would have been really awkward. But yeah, they're definitely shitting bricks, and they should be. But if Ariel was to be believed, and as much of a weaselly little shithead that guy is, and I hate him, he must know something that we don't. So maybe there's a chance that the injury's minor, and they're kind of, the reason they're in scramble mode now is because they are looking for a contingency, which they probably should have done in the first place. But there's right now until the UFC comes right out and tells us. The signs are worrying, though. It's not just the fact that they pulled the press conference. They've pulled down all of Conor's videos of his fights. So, when they usually put fights up on YouTube before someone's about to fight, they've pulled those down, and they've also stopped people from buying the pay-per-view as well. They've suspended pay-per-view sales as well. So those signs are not good. So every indication would be that it's definitely very much up in the air, and we don't know. So, yeah. Have you heard of the German skier you almost got me. You almost got me. As soon as I saw Fanny, I became suspicious. Fanny Schmeller. There probably is a German lady called Fanny Schmeller out there. I mean, if my surname was Schmeller, I assume there'd be somebody in the family with the the banter enough to call her Fanny. You got caught with it. The thing is, yeah, I know Black Bet, you haven't been in it too much, but I have seen you in the chats in other places, and I know what you're capable of, sir. You almost got me. It's a great name. Like Ivana Humpalot. There's another one that came to mind there. Yeah. But no, it's good to have you in here. It's good to have you in here, Black Betty. You always bring the banter. It's good to have all of you in here. I'll never stop being grateful for people turning up to look at me just talk bullshit. Yeah, I think I'm gonna pull the stream soon because it's getting closer to midnight here as well, and I was here until 2 a.m. last night. But I definitely feel encouraged doing these more often. Have a great one, Mo. Thanks for turning up, bro. Really appreciate you. Fanny Schmeller is the real spelling. You're gonna catch me out one day, 100%, because I'm kind of retarded. So you're gonna catch me out sooner or later. I might have some undiagnosed tism as well myself. Thing is, I talk about it so much. The irony being that I probably am very much on the spectrum myself. It's a real person. Is it a real skier? You see, I'm going down the retardation route already. You've pulled me back in. Yeah. So there's a lot going on this week. There's been a lot to talk about, which is obviously great for us. There's a lot of talking points because even when things are a disaster, at the very least, it gives us all an opportunity to complain about it and bitch about it. So that's always a benefit, I don't think we're going to do a live stream for the weekend. What I'm probably going to do is I'll probably watch Dougie's. I'll probably jump in the chat on Dougie's and not do one myself. I'll probably do that. Yeah. I got that vibe. Again, it's a weird one because I bump into a lot of you guys because I'm somebody who jumps into live chats quite a lot as well. I mean, I used to be on musical MMA quite a lot. Obviously, I found out he's not streaming as much these days. I thought he disappeared off the face of the earth, and I do try to catch as much Stuggies as possible. But yeah, if you are new here as well, there's so many great channels to check out, especially some from the UK. We've obviously got the Fight franchise. We've got Dougie's Corner, obviously, over in Australia. Making the Walk is obviously repping it for America, and you've got me in the UK as well. So there's great. There's a funny clip from The Chase with that name. Remember that show? The Chase. I do remember The Chase. Black Betty, where are you, by the way? With Bradley. So are you in the UK? If you're talking about Bradley Walsh, you must be in the UK. I think The Chase is still going. Like my mum used to love that show. My mother used to love that show. Yeah, the band where they had like the autistic. I think there's a couple of autistic game show guys on that one. You're in Yorkshire. We've spoken before. Definitely. I apologize. You have been in my live streams before. Because I remember talking to you directly about this as well. Yorkshire. I'm in Cambridgeshire. So we're not too far. You definitely got to hit me up on Twitter. Because we are definitely not far. At some point I'm going to be, I'm always on the road, like out and about around the UK. So I'm always traveling back and forth to everywhere, doing various things, going to comedy shows and doing all kinds of things. So I'm always about. Definitely hit me up on Twitter. Yeah. There's a funny clip. Yeah. So is that where you got the Fanny Schmeller from? That can't be real. That can't be real. It can't be. Again, if your family name is Schmeller and you call your daughter Fanny, that's child abuse. You should have that child. You should not be allowed to have kids, or you should have that child taken from you immediately. Yeah, so it's the same handle. I'm actually getting close to hitting 1,000 followers on Twitter. Funnily enough, I was lurking at 9. I've been lurking at 900 for like the last 6 months or so because I haven't really been bothering to interact that much on there. But more recently, I've had a little bit of a late surge. Oh, I'm literally 13 away from 1,000. That's not bad. I mean, who cares really? It's not that important. But I figure one hand washes the other in that regard. But no, it's been fun, guys. I think I'm going to call it. I might. Yeah, I think I'm going to call it quits there. We've been on for a good 2 hours now, 2 hours plus. But I'm definitely going to be encouraged to do these more. I think I'm going to try and do a few more every week. Like I'll try and do 3 or 4 a week, even if it's just jumping on and talking about any bollocks, because the banter's always good, and we're starting to get a bit of a community here going. And like I said, you might want to be part of being on here on the ground floor, because I definitely think we're gonna go from strength to strength. And like I said, it's nice to be there from the beginning. I don't expect to get too big around here because I talk too much bullshit. But I appreciate all of you for jumping on. And check out the videos we put out today. We did one on the state of boxing versus UFC. I have a video coming out every day where we discuss various like MMA topics that a lot of people don't address. So we talk about the pay stuff, and we talk about all kinds of stuff. So you'll find something that probably piques your interest. I appreciate that as well, Black Betty. Anyone that can, because like I said, the subscriber counts, my subscriber count's kind of slow, but like I'd rather have people like you guys that are going to interact and that it's fun. I'm not too worried about getting to 1,000, or that's why I very rarely say like and subscribe in my own streams, because it's not that important to me. It's just having people I can talk shit with is the main thing for me here. But yeah, obviously if you can shout people out that are going to be part of it, that'd be fantastic. But yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Thanks a lot, boys, for turning up. Much appreciated, and we'll catch you for the next one. I might pop on tomorrow at some point as well. But thanks a lot, guys.